2029. So at least that's like, to me, this model does make intuitive sense, but of course the specifics and are the numbers higher and lower enough, like we can always do with more money. That's just like a reality, right? But I think that Riot is thinking about things in the right way, and it's a model that you can look at and be like, skins are going to continue to sell for years. Selling skins in 2029 is a real thing, whereas if it was still media rights based, the media rights deal isn't coming. It seems to be the reality there.
By the way, being as this isn't just the state of LCS, it is the state of League of Legends, I actually do think the T1 scene, it's the head of business development, the guy you referred to, Monty. I actually think his statement at the end is super significant. I'll just read it out quickly. It says, only a handful of teams are currently profitable, but profitability is not impossible. Still, high player salaries and content production costs have locked teams into a high-cost structure. The pressure to deliver short-term results is immense. In the long run, teams must move beyond sponsorship events.
Come get a glimpse into the belly of the beast. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
What he's essentially saying, in my opinion, there, if I break down that statement and read between the lines, the first part is basically saying,
after we make it through the winter, the population will surge again and my power will soar. Now available.
You can't take it with you.
T1, the most successful team, we aren't even close to profitability. I would even take a guess that when he says teams can be, he means some guy middle of the pack team that's perfectly min-maxed it, and they've paid not much salaries because they don't have great players, but they ended up having a decent roster, and they've gotten just high enough and just enough things. So essentially, if you want the CS equivalent, from everyone remembers a couple of years ago, the ends of League of Legends in this analogy. By the way, it's always a bad sign when the most successful team in terms of business is not the fucking one that wins all the world championships and has the biggest, most viewed player and all the sponsors.
And then was also good about doing that as well.
There's another good one. And then here's another thing. If you are yourself T1 and you're saying, we really have to move beyond sponsorship dependent, like, bro, you are fucking T1. Everyone currently thinks, every idiot on Reddit, that you don't have to worry about money because you're just can access the big T1 or billion Scrooge McDuck fault, which isn't even true at all, by the way. Every business will on some level justify itself, if not at least as marketing or some complementary business. So I found that to be very significant, because to me, that last sentence isn't even for fans or even me reading it. That last sentence basically says, yeah, everything Papa Smithy just said is accurate, and I like the direction it's going in, but we can't wait to just sell our world skins and sell the odd legacy skin. Basically give us access tomorrow to make our own carrier product, to make our own faker thing, to make our own, here's an idea, maybe it could be like a hub sub-site within the client. If you're a T1 fan, you go to and you buy T1 gear, and it has the YouTube videos embedded, and it has a fan club. There's a million things which I assume all these people with the creative juices would get flowing if they had access to, but unfortunately it feels like they're just really slowly opening that valve to let the odd drip out, and they're essentially saying we need the dam to break tomorrow.
I mean, there is a way for there to be a circuit for League of Legends to be incredibly profitable for esports teams. Like, of course,
the international events are very profitable, right, Papa? Like
if I think about, if I think about kind of like what the circuit could be, then of course there's ways for a small amount of teams in every region to be very profitable.
Yes.
And the game, but that's like a choice, right? Like, I think from my experience with Riot for the longest time, and maybe they can't solve for this anymore, their goal was the more people that can be gainfully employed in League of Legends esports in the world, the better, which is absolutely a noble way to look at it, right?
Papa, instead of having giant prize pools like Dota, they had stipends for basic pros. They didn't.
Now they don't have any prize pools.
The funnel was different. Yes.
Like, that was what they were solving for before, which like is a noble thing to solve for, but like
sure.
At that, I remember I was fighting with Riot in 2020 about Tier 3 League of Legends, because I love Tier 2 and Tier 3. I always care about developmental platforms, and the viewpoint from Riot was success in Tier 3 was the most possible players earning a full-time salary from playing Tier 3 League of Legends. And I was on the other side being like, is that good? Like, is that progress? Like, is that actually, like, the win condition? Or is that what we should be solving for? That seems very fanciful, like, was kind of how I felt at that time. And so there's absolutely a different type of circuit. You know, the question of, like, what would League of Legends be like with a CS-like circuit is always going to be a fun thing to ask. Whether it was Arnold or the T1 business developer, I think this was Arnold. Like, he even says similar things of, like, you know, if all categories were allowed to be sold, it's well known that Riot kind of like picks and chooses which categories teams are allowed to take. You know, hard liquor, for example, is not an allowed category. If Korean teams could have soju sponsors, that would probably be pretty lucrative. There's an intuitive link there, but that's not allowed.
Hygenro is the largest alcohol manufacturer in the world, guys. So yes, it would be very lucrative for the Korean teams to have soju sponsors.
And this is all stuff that we think about and like soothsay on all the time, right?
And again, by the way, that would also fit in with what we're saying about it's an adults game as well. Like, by the way, if you could have Faker in a really baller, classy commercial for like soju, that would sell like hotcakes.
Like, let's say McDonald's commercials right now in Korea, by the way.
So if people don't know, like, obviously North American Counter-Strike is not in a great place on any metric. There isn't a team winning events, and there isn't like a lot of teams that are paying livable wages either. If Team Liquid was, you know, 3 or 4 players out of 5 North American and winning tournaments, but there was only 2 other teams that were paying kind of like livable wages, but there was like, wow, they're winning, why can't I win? Like, there was a lot of people playing online tournaments in ESCA, and kind of like there was a lot of viewership for NA domestic games, kind of like MLG 2012 vibes in League of Legends. Is that a good ecosystem? By Riot's definition before, the answer would have been no. Whereas for me, I'm like, oh, but like a lot of people are excited about it. Theoretically, there's receptive eyes, probably without a lot of spending power, who are watching things. That's good for viewership metrics and YouTube shorts. And like, maybe over time, this will get where it needs to go. But like, that's never been what Riot was solving for.
Yeah, I mean, NA Counter-Strike kind of did go the same way as NA League, really. I mean, first of all, it was very similar in how it was constructed. A lot of the top streamers were the top players. Sometimes streamers went on to become pro players, you know, like guys like Tarek and stuff, if you remember him from the No Shirt. And like what ended up happening there, unfortunately, was a complete lack of commitment by the team owners. Like, what they started doing was they wanted to create franchise leagues before we ended up with franchise leagues, and then pretend franchise leagues. But they wanted to create...
The joke is, if Riot hadn't created franchise leagues, NA owners would have done it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did.
Yeah, and so you had that problem, and then the next issue was they would like... So they would say, oh, we'll have a team now for this event, and then as soon as, you know, there wasn't an immediate return on the investment, they would publicly go out and say things like, yeah, it's just not an economy for Counter-Strike. There's no way to make money on having a Counter-Strike team. I mean, complete bullshit, because we're doing it in Europe. They're just fucking nonsense. What, you know, the problem with American team owners in every esport is they always want to do it on fucking easy mode. They want guaranteed revenue. They want access to all the top talent. They want other people's money to spend. Like,
they were also driving that Ferrari themselves, Richard.
Yeah.
They had the Ferrari of all the insane sponsorships when Europe had like half the amounts.
Yeah,
they also pissed that away.
Yeah. And of course, they want a guaranteed league that they can never drop out of and will always be invited to and will always play in. It's like, guys, this is too much. This is super unrealistic. This isn't how sports operates. You might have a couple in America that maybe do meet 4 out of those 5 things, but like, even then, that's pushing it. And by the way, those ones all have strong, robust union protections for the players, unlike esports. But that's a sidebar. But anyway, the reason Counter-Strike in NA essentially died off was because, first of all, the org started pulling out and going, we regret that we will have to leave CS. We just can't make money from it. then whenever a mage came around, stick of money, shit, okay, good. We might make $3 million for nothing, for just fielding a shit team. Let's get a team in again. And then they don't qualify and they go, 3 months later, sorry, we're out again. TSM did that a bunch. I don't know why anyone would be excited about TSM coming to Counter-Strike when TSM fumbled the #1 team in the world anyway, and just didn't give a fuck about the game except when it was a means to pay the bills. Then obviously ESL fucked over the up-and-coming American orgs by just literally stealing slots that they'd earned through qualification and then selling them to European people so they could create a franchise league, which was outrageous. So that's pretty much stymied the feeder talent. And then obviously all of the people that had personality that could play at a pro level, they realized they could just be streamers now and make more money for less effort. And eventually go on to be co-streamers of all of our big events now. And they can just sit there and smoke Zaza all day and just get paid for it. So why the fuck not? So that's what that was essentially the implosion of CS and NA, along with some other things. And that's pretty much what happened in the league. And it was right there. Right there. You had all of the elements you needed to succeed. And again, it's like a combination of short-sightedness, avarice, and just, I don't know what's wrong with North American owners when it comes to esports. I can't figure them out. I don't understand how their brains operate in such a ridiculous way compared to everywhere else in the world.
The only thing I think about these days that might be tangentially related, Richard, is obviously I always want to look at success stories in other regions and try to understand what I can learn and bring back to my org or to my region. And the brands you look at, that is T1, that obviously is like a unique unicorn case of like incredible legacy across all competitive gaming in Korea for 25 plus years. The biggest player bigger than the game, et cetera, et cetera. So it's hard to like take too much from them, apart from like really, the brand building they did around ZOFGK was very, very smart. Again, playing into idol culture in their country. But like the more relevant ones or more recent ones are Carmine Corp, Mad Boy, and Lost Returns. And I do think that one thing that North America struggles with is, well, it's one thing that I can't recreate is having a French fan base with French communication and this like geolocated fan base, or at least like language separated fan base that really resonates with a project that like is very much like their market is segmented in a very intelligent way. I think market segmentation for LCS teams is super, super hard, right? You're all in LA. All the events are offline in LA. The LA market is very saturated. Also, the LA attention span, in a TikTok generation, is going to be what is the new hotness. Like, what?
Got a craving? Wing it. For as little as $6.99, get wings on personal pan pizza.
You're competing with an unlimited amount of global content in English and also local opportunities, and the opportunity cost of watching LA esports is extremely high compared to kind of like the authenticity of big streamers speaking to their own market in a way that's like very, very much segmented. You guys probably don't know this. One of the most interesting things I learned was about the rise of French esports and Komedo, towards the end of that story. And what I didn't know is, back in the day, I'm going to cast your mind back to 2012, 2013 esports. If you guys were watching League of Legends at all, you'd remember that CLG's streaming channel on owned 3D was shared between the different players, right? Like, Double Lift would do a 4-hour, stream, and then he would host, or at least, I don't know, hosting didn't exist, but, he'd be replaced by Big Fat LP, he'd be replaced by Chauster, like, it was like, and then, at that time, it led to the points where you guys probably remember when, like, oh, no one wants to stream when Bjergsen's streaming, and things like that, but specifically for CLG, it was very much, there's one channel, you don't get to control who's on it. Like, if you're not in the right time zone, you're not going to get Double Lift, because obviously he's asleep, and this next CLG streamer has inherited it. What I learned was that actually the French kind of esports never left that, and like streamer culture has been like that the whole time. It wasn't like everyone had their own stream. There was this kind of like radio channel kind of version of it where you like flowed from one to the other, and that's why Kometo was able to bring so many fans to League of Legends, because he just had this fan base that was was experienced being transferable to whatever kind of like was like exactly the water cooler. Like that Kometo stream was the water cooler of esports, and it happened to be League of Legends. Like, I don't know if anybody has brought more esports fans to a older product than Kometo bringing French fans to League of Legends in 2021 too. You know, like end of 20. That's, if you could find that number, it would be tens and tens of thousands of people he has brought to a mature esport. That's super cool. Like the latest example of that would be like Heated Rivalry bringing new fans to NHL. Theoretically, no one knows how that's going to go, but like that's like bigger culture moment translating into viewers of like an old project. And I look at kind of like, because we'll use K-Corp as an example, and obviously, you know, Lucio went to K-Corp recently, and I'm sad about that. But regardless, like K-Corp is like a really interesting example to look at, because recreating that when you can't market segment in the same way is hard. I actually felt this on the product side. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced on the product side, but on the products, I guess Flashpoint was probably competing with the ESL Pro League at some point, and there was probably some like, kind of like,
why they stole the sponsor.
Yeah, I just meant like, you know, Europe versus North American time zone kind of stuff there. But the reason why I bring it up is I used to cast the OPL when I was doing like the Australian League, while I was casting the Chinese League when I was in Australia, just because we did both projects. And like, why would anyone watch the Australian League when they could watch the LCK at exactly the same time in English, and it was normalized to watch it in English? They'll just watch the better league. And I think that sort of stuff for North America to segment is hard. And my latest shower thought, I don't know how you guys will react to this. Maybe it's code, maybe it's smart.
By the way, just as an aside, I do love. This is like I'm getting up the first kink vibe out of this. Remember what I just said earlier? 10 years ago, the same conversation on this show would be: how are Europeans ever going to?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Because we're segmented, and people in France, for example, can only access the French.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas actually, Jack from Cloud9 can access the whole continent, so he's going to win forever. And the joke is, you're now making the opposite complaint of like, bloody hell, get me into a tiny market when there's only 4 people that ever stream, and they have all the viewership. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Keep going.
There's probably a learning that can be reverse applied here, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm ahead of the curve. I'm just trying to look at the curve. Is that one thing that I've been? It's like affected me, so I probably see it when other people don't. Is like, my LCS winning team was the team that had no North American players or coaches on it, right? And everyone was like, basically like, fuck this, you know. People hated it, if you know what I mean. Like, people really did. It was really not popular when it was framed that way, of like, this is a problem, basically, was the way it was framed. I find it so fascinating that Common Corp has only 2 European players this year, 1 French player. Obviously, the French player happens to be a generational talent, which is very, very helpful. And the owner is, you know, a goat of French culture, even above esports culture. Like, he's like a massive celebrity in France. But there's no like, oh, they like swapped Lucio's residency to European just to make this lineup work with 2 Koreans and a 3rd import and a Swedish person and a French person. They're still, nope, they're coming into our team. We are Carmine Corp. These are like our rituals. This is what kind of players we bring. This is what we expect from you. It's very much like a fan base that's like, as long as you like march to the beat of our drum, we are super down to roll with you, is like how it looks at. And my suspicion on that, rather than just sitting there and being salty, because that's not productive, is I feel like in the early days of North American League, it would be like, I want to watch TSM at Worlds, and if TSM doesn't make it to Worlds, I'm not going to watch Worlds. But over time, with, you know, the legacy brands you guys are talking about, TSM, CLG, etc., falling away, and new teams trying to build a brand and not being able to take advantage of trends or kind of like segment a market, etc. It instead became, I'm a North American fan and I want to see North American players do well at Worlds, and I'm not seeing enough of those, and I don't have any allegiance to any specific team. Like, I would assume that a lot of LCS fans in 2025 compared to 2015 have no favorite team, and they're just supporting North America, and thus the representation comes to the front in a certain way. Because it's like, I don't know, the names and logos change every year. Wish there was more North American players when I watch the international event. It's very different to like, I'm a TSM Ultra and I just want to see TSM do well. And if you sign for TSM, I'm gonna ride with you right to the end. Like the sort of vibe you get from like, you'll know this reference, Thorin, the Man United guy. What's his name? Mark Goldbridge. You know, where it's very much like, you know, like, I don't agree with this signing, but he's Man United now, so I'm riding with him to the end. All right, fuck this guy when he leaves. You know, like, there just isn't that kind of fandom in North America, and I see that as a problem, and it's something that I've identified. It's something that I want to fix. It's something that I want to try to do better about for FlyQuest in 2026, but it's a very, very tricky thing to do, and I see it as like an aspirational thing to be like, how can I, without language advantage or market segmentation, segment a market? And I hope fans can hold us to a high standard of trying to do that. Like, if we just don't do it and then just wait, then yeah, we could win and thus be popular, but you want your brand to lead to ride or dies that currently I think are harder and harder to get in the English speaking world.
By the way, one thing you've nailed there, actually, I'll tell you right now, me and Monty do this thing where we just tell you what we do and what our techniques are. Just everyone else thinks we're dickheads and they don't copy the technique, and therefore the joke is LFN has a million times more sponsors than the fucking LCS broadcast, which probably has more viewership. So one of the things that you're talking about here is, you said it all there, mate, right? So the viewership of LEC itself it also relies on things like Kate will turn the stream on. The success of MCoy of KC is like Ibai, it's Kometo, right? The reason why that works, the reason why you create zealots, ultra fans who aren't just fans even like I'm of this player. The joke is that, like you're saying, that in North America, someone was a fan of Doublelift, so they followed him from CLG to TSM to Team Liquid. They didn't give a fuck about TSM when he left. The joke is, as you said, I think even if Kalist left KC, they'd sort of go, you know what? I wish you well, but sort of fuck you. In fact, who's coming in now? Who we got now in KC? You're right. They're loyal to KC more than Kalist, who's French, even if they're a French fan. I think what you're nailing here is people don't want to be fans of faceless corporations. They want to be connected in via the personality of Ibai, of Cajal, of Kometo, and then that gives them a reason to care. Because as you say, this is the key thing I think here. I understand totally why Riot fucked with MCoy's VCT spot if Ibai isn't the one turning the stream on. Because actually that is what people on some level are getting into the game via and watching for. They're not just watching for the game and hopefully Ibai's there too. I think that is a key aspect, whereas unfortunately a lot of actually, like I said earlier, they did originally in Riot wanted to, you are a fan of the LCS and you're just a fan of, and it's the old American sports thing of like, you're just a fan of the team and whoever's it. It's like, in the modern day, people don't connect in the same way. People, by the way, the reason this is obvious to me is coming from my sports background in England. Like, when I was a boy, it doesn't matter how shit, like, the Sunderland team is, mate. Everyone will be a fan of Sunderland in that area. When I got to be, like, 30, so 50 years ago, when I was 30, every kid, even in our town, would have a Messi shirt on. And I'd be going, are you Spanish or something? Are you from Argentina? No, it's just a local kid, because the modern kids just follow the brands, they follow the pot. Yeah, that's what they're attached to. They're not attached to the team in the same way. In fact, they do the opposite. They'll support the team if it's good. If it isn't, then fuck it, I'm not even from there here in that sense, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like we call them obviously glory supporters in like mainstream sports, and it's obviously a practice that's generally frowned upon. You know, like but Duncan will have seen it as well in school.
I haven't thought about the term glory fans in a long time, Richard, but you're right, actually. Yeah.
That's the funny thing, bro. Back then, it was a diss if you were the Man United kid putting out our area in the North East. Now, everyone would be the Man United. Well, not now, but obviously they'd be the Man City fan.
Now everyone's the Man City fan.
You know?
And it was incredible watching it kind of like happen because, you know, obviously, again, I'm a Newcastle fan where I grew up. It was pretty much divided between, well, in the North East, I should say. It was pretty much divided between Newcastle, Sunderland, and Middlesbrough. It was kind of like a bit of a melange, less Middlesbrough. And then I moved to Middlesbrough, and I was a Newcastle fan of Middlesbrough, which was lots of fun. But ultimately, when I was at school, I was watching like, we
KB Home offered me, value for my money, and I think that's very important. You can't go wrong.
had the older generation of glory supporting Liverpool fans. And then it was the United fans. And then Chelsea got bought by Abramovich, and all the money started going into that team. And they started getting all these old, like...
We've never met a Chelsea fan before that. You suddenly go everywhere, I remember.
Yeah, a fucking Chelsea fan in the northeast of England. Are you fucking dizzy? Like, what the fuck is this? But there was a load of Chelsea fans, and then, and a few Arsenal fans popped up because obviously they played fantastic football. And now it's like not really thought of as a thing in football. People generally just support, the team that like they vibe with, and just coincidentally the team they vibe with as a child will very often happen to be the best team, right? Now, when you buy the ticket and take the ride with a sports team, though, it's great if you pick them when you're a kid and you're winning every week, you get to go into school and fuck you to all of your friends and all of that stuff. It don't last forever. I fucked myself in the late 80s because my NFL team is Raiders. I picked
You picked an NFL team in the 80s as a British person?
In late 80s, there was a big push to sell NFL to Brits.
Didn't know that.
And it used to be on Channel 4. And they partnered up with a popular tabloid called the Daily Mirror, which was basically what working class people read as opposed to the Sun, which, they're scumbags.
You have to realise Richard's origin story is a bit like the movie Cable Guy here.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Why did you choose them? Was it because they were winning? What was
Because all of the rich kids had 49ers jerseys, because that was the team at the time.
Got it.
And they were the glory supporters, and so they were all walking around school with the Joe Montana on their back.
I chose my NFL team for a stupid reason too. I'll be interested to hear why Duncan chose his, but in Australia, I was at college right as HDTV for broadcast started. We had like an HD projector or something, and like you would turn on the terrestrial channel. It didn't have cable, and and almost nothing was in HD. Everything was in like 480i or whatever, like low res kind of like stuff was there. Actually, the only thing that was broadcast in HD was the NFL in the mornings in Australian time zones. So I actually chose the New Orleans Saints because their stadium looked amazing in HD. That was the reason I chose them. I was like, wow, that looks cool. It justifies the purchase of this projector, I guess. And then Drew Brees seemed cool, and they actually won the year later. But I just chose it because of how the stadium looked, like an aesthetic choice, which flies against how I choose my other teams. But that was just like the random variables that led to an Aussie choosing an NFL team at all. I mean, Duncan, do you have a team? I know you like quarterbacks and stuff like that.
Here's the thing, I don't have a team.
So you're the problem child, kind of like.
I am.
Oh my god.
That's because I came to the NFL later in life. So the beauty is, I'm only loyal to my family, my kid, and my people. Beyond that, fuck yeah, I only want to see the best player. So the second the joke is, I just watched the Steelers this season because Aaron Rodgers went there.
Yeah, see, he says this, but he always had a soft. Basically, first of all, he's a massive Aaron Rodgers.
I know that.
And second of all, he always had a soft spot for the Packers. For that,
yeah, but now I hate them for betraying him. So fuck them. There you go. I'm also incredibly spiteful. Don't know if anyone that
never came across.
But to put a bow on the like the 100 Thieves KC thing, it's like I look at that and I'm like, fuck, we failed at our like social media marketing content strategy to not build 100 Thieves League of Legends fandom that would withstand kind of these like Excel spreadsheet nationality things. And I look at KC and be like, I'm jealous of what they've been able to achieve, like that's how I look. I'm not like salty about it or anything. I'm like, fuck, that was the missed opportunity that we did that didn't allow us to our success to be received. Because I'll be honest, like 100 Thieves kind of like, obviously I left them a year later, but in general, the like bittersweetness of winning and not being appreciated for it definitely was one of the reasons that influenced the changes of spending in League of Legends for the org. People want to be loved, people want to be supported and things like that, and so that I take ownership of that, even if like my job was not like marketing officer or something like that.
This message is sponsored by Raycon. Now that the holidays are over, it's the perfect open, lightful sound. They still everyday earbuds. These come to switch that. So, of course, there have to guarantee. So, you buy a Raycon for spot.
We can skip and go to something else, but I think this is relevant. This is also relevant to recent news in League of Legends. Oh my lord, Monty, did I laugh. How rich is this broke? That in the last few months, there's rumours there's going to be League 2, except it's just like CS2. It'll just be a transition from League currently with the skins to 2. Now remember, Monty, again, I must have been in Guantanamo Bay there being tortured because I was told for the last 10 years we didn't need a League 2, we didn't need a better graphical UI, we didn't need to update the client, that these things were all fine, and in fact, you're an idiot if you said these things. So I'll tell you what I think is rich as fuck about this, Monty, is I'll give everyone a quick lesson. Only Rich will appreciate it, maybe, because it's a really old example. When Source came out in 2005 or whatever it was, one of the main motivating reasons, it's even what all the Source people said, why we had to switch to Source wasn't it's better in these ways. It's because, guys, we're not going to get people to watch an old-ass video game that was coded in 1999, right? Let me just put that in context. CS Retail came out in 2000. This was 2005, 5-year span. Right, League of Legends came out in 2009, and more officially, like I'd say, like 2010, 2011. The esports circuit began technically in 2011. We're talking about it's 2026 now, and you're going to go to League 2. That's how long you've squandered that chance to do an update. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is real news, but I'm going to tie it to an angle you might not want to run with, I'll just do it myself, is I have always told Monty another area League of Legends was absurd in throwing away their advantage is compared to games like Counter-Strike, which you will know all of everyone on this call, you don't have to play Counter-Strike now to still be able to watch it. In fact, there are people from other esports who've never played Counter-Strike who watch it, and in fact, it is probably the #1 game that's a gateway for general esports fans to go, wow, kind of cool. A bit like what Olympics did with Valorant recently, where he discovered another game that he could sort of get into quickly without knowing the minutiae and enjoy the bigger picture. So when you're in this scenario, one of the things that I think is really mad is you have if you come to League of Legends, essentially what I was going to say was they used to have an enormous player base in League, and the actual, even though we had crazy viewership like 500k, that was nothing compared to the giant amount of people playing the game. The conversion of people watching the game wasn't very good, and I always told Monty, as someone who's an outside person coming in, but very knowledgeable about esports and watching esports, like I watched games like Broodwar that I didn't play at a high level. I'm not just someone from Counter-Strike and Quake. The most jarring thing about League always was how old the client always fucking looked, even with that shitty little graphical update, whatever it was, 2016 or something, where they made the Rift look a bit better. It was always really janky, and the worst thing about the game was the visibility of what is happening and the intuitive feel of what is, like, for example, I used to tell Monty, bro, a fan at home will never know the kills was activated. They'll never be able to see them. They'll never know that won the fight Kenny are doing the kills onto this guy right there. That isn't a big enough Meanwhile, some spells would have a massive graphical thing that would just dog shit that did nothing. And there was no rhyme or reason. Dota, by the way, itself is mega outdated. But at least they've done some updates on the engine. And at least their game, I would actually say, I think it's a lot more intuitive to figure out when someone does the BKB or does notes, etc. I've always thought that is one of the hardest things about League, because unlike games like Counter-Strike, it isn't easy to instantly see what's happening. I always think that this is just a random side thing, just to show how difficult it is. I'll tell you how everyone can get the experience of the information overload and how hard it is to parse. Does anyone remember back in the day, again like 10 years ago, some of the early...
Switch to TurboTax and file your own taxes free in the app if you didn't file with us last year. Just file with TurboTax and do it yourself by February 28th. Download now.
highlight clips in League, people did this thing that sadly didn't become a trend, where when you would show a highlight of a real game, but it was like a 10-minute highlight package, what you would do is, at the beginning of each highlight segment, you would pause the screen for 1 second and really quickly put a box around who I'm meant to watch. So I'm not just watching
team fight breakdown and stuff like that.
Stuff like that was really...
That was a skill.
League's never had anything
that
like
was a
this.
skill, Duncan.
League's never had this.
I know that, like, as a caster, I don't know if Monty... I'm sure Monty intuitively did the same thing, but something I always kind of tried to do is I would... When a team fight was coming up, I would intuitively know, like, whose life is the most important, you know, what skill is the most important, and so I would always key the viewer in the replay. I would almost start almost every replay with watch the Twitch, because when the Twitch chooses to open up or not is going to decide the fight, kind of thing. Like, that's because like you're saying, like, it's not quite Overwatch where literally it's like color being vomited on a screen. Like, you do have to still say, like, look here,
I'll give you the
and you'll see
example.
how it will play out.
Here's the obvious analogy. When I watch the line of scrimmage in the NFL, another incredibly information-dense game, I watch where the ball's going, don't I? I don't have to worry about what this guy did. What if there was no ball and I had to intuitively know where to work? As you're saying, essentially, I need you to live translate that for me. But the game itself has a lot of problems, I still think, in that regard. So now they're potentially going to update new graphical thing. I hope that is an area they are actually genuinely going to like put a lot of effort into, because I do think that's another area where League, I think, essentially got a lot of its viewership from a tiny conversion from an enormous success of a casual game. But I think it's going to be very hard to build up viewership without certain things.
Readability in game has also gotten worse with more champions. And I think the readability of League of Legends has deteriorated over time. I wouldn't say in 2012 it was that hard to watch.
Are you ready for something mad you might not know about because you haven't been in the game as much? Or people have even said this actually happened thanks to fucking Papa's player, Inspired. The other joke is even modern pros sometimes don't know what an old champion does, bro. There's too many champions. So there's actual pro players that when Nunu was played by Inspired didn't know what the fuck was going on there. They were like top Korean pros, mate. Like there was people who were like legendary players. So there's another problem. If I wasn't a fan in 2011, what happens when someone plays Teemo in the game, mate?
So, come here.
How do I immediately figure that out? That's a problem we have as a sport. No, you don't have that in the NFL.
I think League of Legends solved from the start for novelty, i.e. like fast balance changes, lots of costume changes. I will say, to your point, Duncan, there's some new skins where literally like set looks exactly like Udyr. You know what I mean? Like I look at it and I'm like, because you guys remember back in the day it used to be like this skin is banned because the Blitzcrank hook is invisible, or like this, Vladimir's too small on this skin. Like I do think we've kind of like moved past that and we're just solving the sales, which is what it is. But coming back, I think League is always, because like that, the thing that League had is like, I remember sitting with you guys. I think even you were there in Duncan in like 2014, and being like, is League the first forever game? Because like they very much didn't want to release, a true change, and there has been seismic graphic updates in the game that did not involve a name change. Like that has happened, not for a long time now. So this
they're not changing the name for what it's worth.
So to all of that, what I would say is, I think that League of Legends like found a way to use novelty to get a lot of in-game purchases happening, and then the trade-off of focusing on novelty, i.e. I can watch Dust 2 games in Counter-Strike 2 years ago when I hadn't been following Counter-Strike, and it's the game I played at a LAN cafe with my friends in Dubai in 2001, and it's like, oh, it's Dust 2, I remember that. If you take a 2-year break from League of Legends and come back, you're like, even the characters I remember aren't even doing exactly the same things I remember.
Well, especially
also,
now with the seasons pop out, they introduced all these new objectives,
and
like it's great.
And the players changed.
I would posit, not knowing this, never told this by a Riot executive, that like if you told them like, hey, you sold for novelty and you got lots more in-game purchases, but the esport was way less readable, and when you churn from the game, which is like the game the like game development phrase of like no longer playing it regularly or not logging in for a long time, you like churn hard. It's hard to come back. It's hard to come back and play. It's hard to come back and watch. I think they probably would have been happy with their choice. Like they backed a horse in that race, but the horse definitely hurts the readability of the esport a lot. That's why you need good casters to translate.
It's kind of a weird one because Dota went through a very similar like overhaul. Like they made the map 30% bigger. They added a new objective called Tormentors. They added a new mechanic as it relates.
All my Dota knowledge is from 2004.
They updated the engine
Dota,
too,
right? So
yeah. It's certainly since Papa was playing it.
21 years, lots changed.
They also gave every hero in the game an innate ability.
After we make it through the winter, the population will surge again and my power will soar.
Now available.
Okay. They also gave everyone in the game a new position for an item called a shard, which gives them an ability. They also gave them these things called facets, which some heroes have 3, and it fundamentally changes the archetype and build path, theoretically speaking. Some are dog shit. And it's doing that and still releasing new heroes. And yet, bizarrely, well, first of all, as Duncan said, it doesn't have the readability problems League does. But bizarrely, everybody seems to just be on board with it. Like, you will get the players that, like, kind of malign, oh, it's not old Dota. You've got kind of a little groundswell of a movement, like what people want.
Dota Classic kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The Dota Classic is a very real, whispered thing in certain, communities. Whether or not Valve would ever do that, I doubt. But, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, if it's a way to make money. But it'll probably never happen. But anyway, the fans of the game are just like, yeah, okay, cool, you know? And I don't know if it's because of the way things are implemented or if it is just the fundamental readability, but people dip in and out of competitive Dota all the time, typically around the TI cycle. And you can maybe even argue TI isn't the spectacle it used to be because all the fucking prize money fetishists don't fucking rubberneck now that it's got just a normal prize pool.
What was the prize pool of the last international?
That was like 3...
Couple of million, not many now.
Yeah, it was like 3 million. Basically, what happened was the community said, we don't want you using FOMO tactics in the battle pass, and we want, and I shouldn't have to get to rank 400 to get a limited edition Arcana. So Valve went, oh, okay, cool, yeah, we'll make an esports themed one. And everyone went, I hate this, where are my hats? Where are my Arcanas? And nobody bought it, nobody supported the teams, and the prize pool went down massively.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, all of which is to say, it is weird that in League, people are, like, definitely tapping the fuck out. And, like, I think a big part of it, and again, this is just to float it to you guys, honestly, in any given patch in Dota, you can still play about 70% of the heroes.
Right.
And
well, that's also a fundamental difference, Richard. Riot, no matter what they've said over the years, clearly do design the game the way they want it. In fact, when people do things like lane swaps, they alter the game so you can't do it as much. Whereas actually, Dota, to me, has always been more hands-off in that sense, too. Like, you figure it, it's a sandbox, you figure out what you want to do.
Architected, I would say, Duncan. Like, they're like, this is good now. You know what I mean? Like, they can make a series of changes and then mages it back when maybe they hadn't been played for a year. For sure.
Yeah, and look, I will say this, Dota has definitely been streamlined. They have, the game design philosophy in Dota these days is definitely about minimizing toxicity in-game by removing obscure traditional aspects of the game. Like, everyone gets a courier now. It's not like how it used to be. Like, back in the old days, right, if you were a POS 5, which is what I played, you never touched the courier. If anybody touched the courier within the first 4 minutes of the game when your mid needed to get regen out, you were griefing. I have to buy the courier. I used to have to buy the courier with my gold. I used to enable my mid to have a game, and I would finish a game typically with brown boots. that was POS 5 life back in the day. Now everyone has a courier, so no one argues about the courier, right? And it's like, so there's definitely like fundamental game decisions that have streamlined the Dota experience, but I think viewers, it's still unbelievably complex and has a lot of complexity that League doesn't. So it is interesting to see like people kind of like tapping out. If they come back and go, what's a dragon, what's this, what's that, I'm okay, what's this big purple thing? Yeah, I'm out. You know what I mean? So it hasn't happened in Dota. Dota fans have kind of...
about me when I watched Watchmen the movie.
So I do think like the upcoming stuff for League of Legends is an interesting development in terms of, like, obviously I broke this a couple of years ago that they were working on massive visual updates. And that they were...
Well, they have to be.
I mean, they were delayed, but I think the question is, from a game perspective, does this actually get new people to play the game? My inclination is it doesn't, because the complexity of 170 champions, and also it's just MOBAs as a genre are not popular with young people. So how does that change?
Let me float this as an idea. Could they ever do what Activision Blizzard did and go on Steam? Would they ever do it?
It's a long time.
I mean, the obvious problem there is it feels like the control elements in other terms. Do they want to be part of someone else's ecosystem? Blah blah blah. You know.
I mean, ultimately, Activision Blizzard had to bite the bullet after mismanagement.
Do you think it does anything? Do you think it does anything, Richard? Like, I feel
definitely.
I don't know. Visibility in Steam is like
does
a limiting
Steam
factor
even
for
want
League of
them if
Legends.
it's a competitor to... Negotiating rates can be stressful and time-consuming, especially with rising fuel prices, inflation, a volatile market, and other frustrating factors at play. But DAT has the resources...
Noda would be my question.
I mean, put it this way, Valve don't give a shit. There's a million MOBAs on there. They'll never be as promoted as much. Like, if Valve ever felt like they were worried about the competitor, they've literally got the front page of the store. They can do whatever they want with it. They can put Dota out there. You know, whenever a new hero's released, it's plastered all over there, you know. But for me, I think it does do something. Increasingly, what's interesting about Steam is it is becoming a place where almost kind of a Discord integration thing, where people are like segmenting into communities, they're using forums, they're talking to each other about the game on Steam, and people are playing the game because, you know, we've all got a friends list, we've all got friends. You see your friend, the game pops up, oh, he's playing this, is he? You know what I mean? Like, I got all of my friends into Arc Raiders. I was playing that. It was like I was awaiting an event when it launched, so I didn't get to play it day one. But I'd seen the beta and I knew it was going to be fucking big and popping. As soon as I got back, I bought Arc Raiders, bought a couple of copies for my friends. And, you know, now we got like a regular group of us all playing it together. I think discovery does matter because you can have people, by the way, who would never download the League of Legends client or never consider it, but then they're going to see their friends playing League of Legends popping up on Steam. They're going to see a League of Legends Steam, you know, page store. I think it would bring new players in.
I think it's an interesting thing because what we actually get in League right now is, you know, new games effectively being added to the base League of Legends client. Like TFT is in League of Legends, right? And that's like a complementary project, but an auto battler is super different to MOBA. And then in the current update, there's like, you know, basically like a countries management, you know, Civilite kind of like experience they're adding. And for sure, they want people to spend the maximum amount of time in the client possible. You know, you play this like management sim and then you can't play anymore, you run out of energy, and it's like, you should play a game of League of Legends or TFT before you can do more things. Like, for sure, they want to maximize the amount of time you're in the Riot Games client. And I'm trying to like compare that to being in the Steam client and buying new games, which of course they get a revenue share from, as to whether injecting that experience into Steam, like, would the double friends list actually be a thing? Like, you're right in that it can't hurt, and I definitely have been around like general gaming enough to know, like, if a PC game comes out and it's not on Steam, did it even come out? Is like the reality.
Well, look
there.
at the relaunch of HON, right? I was super psyched about it. Then I heard it wasn't going to be on Steam. I ain't played it.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like I fucking love that.
You know, games for Windows and all these other stores apart from the Epic Store, which again had Fortnite as an anchor client, like also never took off. So I totally get where you're coming from. Like, there would be an amount of people, but yeah, I can't visualize that breaking through doors. And to the point of CS2, like again, like I played, you know, CS 1.5, 1.6, and then obviously I downloaded Steam and thus played a little bit of the very, very early days of Source and Go. But when I understood like the fundamental change of the smokes, right, which is like, to me, apart from the graphic update, like that's like a very big change, especially for the esport. You're shooting through smokes, the smokes, you know, the rock, paper, scissors smokes and mollies and grenades. I tried to think, could you do a change like that in League that like hits everybody who plays the game, that like would change the game in that way, in a visual update that would like actually evolve the game rather than just a new fresh coat of paint? And I don't really know how you could recreate it, you know?
Like, could change the map. I mean, if Dota can pull out a map change in fucking, you know, 2025, like, it's pretty, you know, I mean, like, that's the one thing that the classic 3-lane MOBA, that's the one thing you don't fuck with. I mean, as it is, I mean, like, you look at what they're doing over at Deadlock, that's the true little interesting MOBA incubate that's going on right now, in my opinion. You know, you look at lots of the stuff they're trying over there, they've made unreal wholesale changes to the game since it reluctantly came into the wink, wink, closed beta. With the vibes embargo that they put in place, like you can play it, just don't talk about it.
I mean, Monty, ideally, the League of Legends update launches the same time as, the sequel to Arcane and something else.
But I mean,
That's what I mean. Yes.
I mean, it's clear that they're updating the client because the client needs to be updated, and they want to have it more. They want to bring in people like you guys are saying to more games, so it's not just like League and then ARAM. These kind of games, they're trying to add new mini games to it. They're trying to keep people in that ecosystem. But the question is, okay, so we turned League into other stuff, right? And we turned it into TFT, and that's all fine and dandy. But is it actually putting people in the primary game of League of Legends? What's the on-ramp? Well, they said they're going to increase, improve the tutorial, but it's still, the learning curve is insane. Like I said, MOBAs are just not popular with young people. There's no escaping that fact. Is that there isn't a MOBA that is being played by high school kids or college kids these days. It doesn't exist. So is this going to break through to them? And then
It might be one of the mobile ones. I mean, what about like Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, and all that?
Maybe in Southeast Asia, yes.
Sure, it's very, very relevant there, yeah.
Sure. But the point is like, how do we get from this stage of how do you get new blood into the game of League of Legends when it's so hard at this point, it's so intimidating to approach?
Got another suggestion for you that Dota, and you can borrow from Dota. What Dota have done, and I think this is fantastic. They did crossover with the Monster Hunter games.
Yeah. Okay.
And so let's think about this conceptually. In MOBA, you have to grind to acquire skills. It takes lots of hours, lots of practice, lots of dedication. If you've ever played the Monster Hunter games, you know you can be in a boss fight for 2 fucking hours, right? And it resets because you didn't use a potion at the right time or whatever the fuck. And you're doing that to grind for bones and skins and hides and sinew to make armor so you can go and beat a bigger monster, right? And that's the gameplay loop in Monster Hunter. MOBA fans and Monster Hunter players, like, that's a marriage made in heaven. What a great bit of fucking what a great bit of market research Valve have done there. And so they've done this Monster Hunter crossover where you have Monster Hunter themed sets for all most of the popular ones, like Sniper's in there and Anti-Mage is in there and Dragon Knight is in there, and the unpopular ones like Techies, he's in there. What people are doing is it's definitely raised the playing hours and the number of players playing, because you get dropped, depending on who you kill in the game, you get dropped items that you can then use to craft the sets. And there's like 4 or 5 sets per hero that they've selected. It's been fucking great. Now, and I guarantee there are and I know because I have been playing some games where I have seen people coming in and they are not very good, because the matchmaking over in Dota is pretty shit. I'll say that. But I know it's bringing new people in, and so why can't League of Legends hook up with an IP? Like a Hon crossover would have been the one. Like, that would have been sick. Because everybody misses the fucking guys like Flint Beastwood and all the sick named heroes and newer heroes. But I mean, find another game.
So crazy idea. Make like a small mini game that could be connected to an IP. Let's call it Arcade or something crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And if that gets popular, tie it in to make people come into the game. By the way, 2 quick things. One thing also I didn't set up earlier, but I personally am cynical. Who knew? It's only served me well for the last 15 plus years, just with League of Legends alone. But I cynically think the reason the shift magically changed to League Next, which remember was never going to exist ever, we never had to look into it, that's not a problem, don't worry, is because I think genuinely Riot had the golden goose that was League, and Riot has never been the one who goes, I've got a golden goose, better take care of that. They went, fuck the goose. It's now not even a golden one. No problem, I'm making another one. It's called Valorant. I'm going to be bigger than CS. Well, the joke is, all the lessons as to why Valorant isn't bigger than CS. By the way, this is how Riot will fuck up a good time without fail. You do realise, to this day, Counter-Strike is irrelevant in Korea, a massive viewing and playing country. Valorant last year was something like the 5th biggest game with 7% share in the PC ranks. But Valorant isn't as big as CS, I would postulate, because Valorant has all the same scene problems and circuit problems systems that League of Legends does because the same motherfucker is making the choices and decisions and using the same ideology and philosophy that caused League to stagnate and then die off. That's why their game still doesn't have more viewers than fucking CS majors and CS in general, which is supposed to have this inferior circuit. So one, I do think actually that when they realised Valorant wasn't the next League, they realised, well, we better get back to the one league we did have, which is League of Legends. And then the other thing I'll just throw out there is we're being actually almost too idealistic by thinking about how to grow the pie again. I'll just put it in more stark terms and take everyone back in time a second. Wait a minute, Korea has more viewers now than it ever did in League of Legends. It is enormous, but the biggest Korean orgs that come from a world that was tiny with StarCraft comparatively and the amount of money that was in the space, they're saying the margins don't work. Now, the real problem here is they're begging you on both ends, like that T1 guy. One, please plug some of the leaks in the boat in this sense, the bath in this analogy, I guess. And two, turn on some fucking taps. That's one of the things I think is mental. Is if I said to you, we're starting tomorrow, Papa Smithy. I've got a Korean league for you.
Right.
The really popular game, so that's 33% share in the Pisces Bank. So all the kids are playing it still. Right. Still a healthy player viewership. I'm going to give you millions of views in terms of
yes.
I'm going to give you hundreds and hundreds of thousands in terms of average viewership. And you know what? We've got the best players in the world in this region too. Problem is, bad news. You've inherited that we're already paying them so much money, way more than we ever make back. The first thing you would try to solve for is just get the fucking salaries down. It was basically there in the T1 thing. Remember, T1, I can tell you, people like Real Madrid don't go, please get the salaries down. They go, lol, we use our salary to destroy our opponents, mate. If T1's going, please, we have to get the numbers down. There's another thing. We can also take what we have now and maximise it. We can figure out ways to have unions and salary caps. Which they've done softly, but we're still a long way off that working, as implied by these comments.
Yeah, I think the thing that fans don't understand is like the region with the highest median salary by far is LCK. Like LCK is the highest size, which 10 years ago, when Monty was setting up his team, like they paid nothing.
China was the highest for a long time.
At that time, it was NA.
Back in the day,
but people still think.
Yeah, I used to tell people back in the day the joke of League of Legends was Doublelift probably made like 5 times what like the best Korean player made. It was ridiculous back then.
Yeah, it is super interesting because like a lot of the Korean.
Morning. Weren't you going hunting today?
I was gonna, but we said you needed a new SUV, so I figured I would take care of that.
Why not do it from the deer stand?
Can't buy a car from a deer stand.
Sure you can. LauraBuickGMC.com. Pick a car, sign online, and they deliver. They'll even haul off my old car.
Huh. I guess you can buy a car from a deer stand.
Your gear's by the front door. If you leave now, you'll still catch the guys.
Model was based on the fact that the players were paid so little.
Yes.
Koreans also, if you notice, like in terms of contracts, it's usually 1-year deals. Only recently the players have been signing 2 or 3-year deals. But Faker was a 1-year deal until like 2021 or 2. Like it was for a very, very long time in his career. No buyouts ever. You never heard about people buying each other out in that way.
It's become such a scandal now of how they sort of battle like Western teams. They're not used to that in Korea, bro.
I do think for a long time it was kind of like there was like a salary that you got paid. Let's just call it $1,000. Obviously, it was a lot more than that, but let's as an example. And it's like that basically everyone pays $1,000, and it's like, well, I want to play with the good players, or the good players deciding who gets on their team. Like, that's kind of how it was because there was no other real protectionism happening. And then the Korean scene eventually was pressured to bid up their market because they wanted to compete with LPL teams.
Yep.
And that was when the LPL was at its apex of expansion, right? Like, they wanted to set up intra-China travel by having everybody have their own stadium. That was like a big mandate.
Unfortunately, the timing was also when
correct. But at that time, when Korea was paying, they had to catch up. And then 2 years later, China stopped paying, but Korea had already kind of like got to the point where they were paying, right? And it's very painful to decouple that for the top teams. Because the reason why I said median salary is like, I don't know how many Korean teams are paying minimum this year. Obviously, I know the teams that are paying lots. And then also like when you talk about the viewership growing, that also means that you have orgs like Hanwha who very much people know is like it's like a rich person's plaything. It's not like a you have in the same league, kind of like I'm trying to like run a P&L versus like, well, that sounds fun. I'd love to have that player on my team, which is only going to bid the market up higher for the people trying to compete. And then, like you said, there'll be people who are like min-maxing quite well in the lower ends of it. But Korea, has there ever been a sport or esport where that was the reality, where they were like the world leader in pay? And like, I can totally understand that causing kind of like unique issues for that ecosystem that they're trying to manage. I totally get where like the T1 CBD, the business guys coming from, is they have kind of created a scenario that's like played out in other regions in esports that's like actually quite novel to Korea, and they're trying to work out how to decouple themselves from the situation they're in. Because yeah, if you want to chase for winning LCK, you are paying a boatload of money, like a world leading amount of money to do so. Absolutely.
But you get my point, though. Like, we already have what should be a very successful amount of viewerships and a great amount of people playing and interested. So to me, it's like, can't we scale things accordingly and make that work as a business?
I mean, you guys are just as qualified as me to speak on this. Like, is empty calorie viewership like profitable? Like, do you get money from having lots of viewers like you did 10 years ago?
Yeah, not anymore, unfortunately, because again, like a lot of things, I'll lay that on the North American doorstep as well. A lot of, I know.
To be clear, I'm Australian. This guy next to me, Monty, he's American.
I know. I'll lay that on the North American doorstep because a lot of the people were using those numbers and then massaging those numbers, misrepresenting those numbers. That then became just out and out lies about like click-through rates and ROI, and we lost people. This is the thing people haven't really been talking about. It's not just that we're losing sponsors from outside of esports. There's a lot of endemic esports sponsors that are so sick and tired of the bullshit that you'll notice they're all scaling back their spending as well.
The holidays are over, but you can still get excellent savings on Mint Mobile. Now, what is Mint Mobile, you might ask? So Mint Mobile is a wireless carrier. You bring your own phone to the wireless carrier, and it saves you a ton of money on your wireless bill. The end of the year sale is extended, but it's only going on until the end of January. I highly recommend switching. I use Mint Mobile myself now when I'm in the US, because all you have to do is you get 50% off the 6 or 12 months of unlimited data plan. That's just $15 a month. It's huge savings. It's delivered on the nation's like you can get definitely with 50 MEN months plan repeat coverage about possible ways that esports and League of Legends in particular can be successful from a business perspective going forward, because we're at a point where the publishers are cutting back, or the tournament operators. ESL is certainly feeling, the pressure from the Saudi government to be more popular. So we're at a time of cost cutting. We're at a time of low spending. And to talk about analogous, products. So for example, talent-based products. So like the NFL or the entertainment industry or LFN, like we try and operate as 50% of the revenue that we create goes directly to the talent. For example, in the NFL is about 48%. So the salary cap in the NFL, which is the maximum amount of money a team can spend, which is the money that goes to the players, 48% of the total revenue of the league is the calculation for the salary cap, right? The problem with esports is it became speculative, which is that more money than the teams were making because of VC was actually going to the players. The budget of talent, in this case the players, was like 150% of revenue, right? Or more than that, for sure. For most teams. Yeah, which is insane, because there was an arms race to get the best players to grow the fastest, to help grow the industry, because that's what was required, right, in order to justify the investments from venture capital, it had to grow. The players were ultimately hugely the beneficiaries of this. But we're at a point now. Now, where does that revenue come from? The NFL. The overwhelming amount of revenue comes from two things: media rights and ticket sales. Neither of these really exist in esports, although LEC is now doing more road shows with MCOY and Carmine Corp, which is good, right? Because hopefully they can generate revenue from ticket sales. But the question is, how do we reach the point of sustainability? And the reason why 50% is the number is obviously you have a lot of overhead costs, right? You have staff that need to be paid. At the NFL, you have stadium upkeep. You have, all of the coaches, like everything, because that's not part of the salary cap, guys. So there's enormous costs associated with this. Plus, I hope we all agree that it would be nice for teams to be profitable, to be a good business where somebody makes money at the end of the day, more money than they're spending. So there are reasons behind this, but the 50% number is like basically the business standard in talent-based businesses. And like I said, is what we try and do here with LFN. When you see us have sponsors, guys, it's actually 60% of that revenue goes to talent because we have lower costs, okay? But like that's the model that we're operating under. And so when we talk about this structure, like how do we get there in esports without media rights? Now, obviously there are certain advantages that esports has, microtransactions, but the developers up until recently have not been willing to share that revenue because that's their revenue, right? And this was a marketing exercise for them to sell skins. But as a team, Papa Smithy, in League of Legends, and you look at this, what are the ways where you can you see yourself like actually being able to hit what I assume is your target as well, which is like 50% of revenue is going to your players and the rest of it is successfully supporting the business of FlyQuest?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I think for a long time, enterprise sponsorship deals were quite large, especially when you're talking about 2016 through 2022 kind of times. And I think that was where you're like, how much do I allocate to the competitive team versus like the other parts of your world was the question. I think these days it's about kind of like you're talking about, like for example, for FlyQuest, we got a lot of praise for our merchandise and apparel in the last couple of years, and that has led to actual significant revenue. We were able to kind of like multiplicatively increase that revenue year on year from both competitive success and
good to hear because your world stuff
acclaim.
is cool. I think it looked cool.
So the apparel stuff has been big for us, but that's like not every team can just sell apparel. Like that was like 100 Thieves main advantage for a long time. Like the hoodie org was a very profitable org to be a part of. So like we definitely set a high watermark there and we'll continue to go at it. I look at other games, like for example, we have Sonic Fox on our roster, and that's like a big presence in 2XKO, and fighting games is a different thing, but at the same time, we've also launched a app main stage. It's about kind of like setting up like a tutorial experience and a tracking experience in 2XKO for new players to like learn the game and get on top of it. That's like a product we've launched. It's a complementary project, because it's like, hey, we have the best 2XKO player in the world. They use this tool to track themselves and get better. If you're interested in playing 2XKO, you should download this tool. Like that's like very obviously like a complementary kind of business vertical for us, that if we're not able to sell that, how are we able to sell anything, right? Like that's like as one-to-one of like, if you want to watch 2XKO and you think this player is good, then you should take this on. And I think those sort of things are increasingly like getting your, like segmenting a fan base and getting them to purchase things is absolutely going to be the pass-fail, because I think, like you're hypothesizing, if you just wait for your share of your league allocated revenue every year and produce nothing else, the question of why are we continuing to do this only gets louder. Like you have to get out there and be a disruptor and push boundaries. And I think that's been our experience. So like we've been able to grow revenue consistently since we came to FlyQuest the last few years from being creative, but we're one team in one ecosystem, and I don't think it's easy to replicate by any means.
It's also that sports teams shouldn't have to invent all of these ancillary businesses to operate as a sports team. You know what I mean? are you just not a sports team anymore, right? And that was the TSM issue. Like we all know TSM's primary business was Blitz and websites, like guide websites. And like at some point, it has to actually be sustainable to be in these developer tournament organizer relationships as a team by itself, and then the other part of it can be cream on the side. But
to do that, you have to cut back a lot. Like, for example, you can't really have a facility in Los Angeles and also not try to create lots of multiple businesses. Like, if you want to just be a sports team, you should have a team house and like streamline overhead costs, because like when you're working out profitability, you need to factor in the size of your staff, the amount of business staff you have, etc.
Sure, but I mean, this goes back to like, you know, why are the teams and why is the LCS in Los Angeles? Like, why?
Because it always was, and because Riot's here. And I'm not saying that's a reason, but good reason, but it is the reason, obviously.
You know, there's another example of I want to succeed, but I'll only do it in this mega expensive place for long time. Well, then you don't want to succeed. And by the way, I can tell you, I'm not being a hypocrite in this sense. Or if you asked me what I wanted to do 10, 15 years ago, was be a great news sports writer, mate, or something like that. Like, I've had to pivot about 5 times my fucking career, a million times over, in order to succeed. And what's bizarre is, Riot are the only ones who just, because, like I say, they locked into some crazy golden goose. Just imagine they don't have to do these things for some reason. I don't get it myself.
Yeah, and like, you know, we know they're cutting costs because of the things they do. For example, Worlds this year is taking place. Everything up until the grand finals is in Allen, Texas.
They have a good positive association with Allen, Texas. I did win the LTA there, but I understand it.
Look, I think I did stuff with Overwatch League there. You know what I mean? Like, I think the venue is actually very good for esports. I don't hate it, but my point is like, why is LCS in LA, but Worlds, 95% of Worlds is in Allen, Texas? Like, shouldn't that be in Allen, Texas? LCA? Or LCS?
That's even a bizarre thing to me that Riot again got to do, and so did Overwatch League, where they just came with a blank slate and said, I'll just go to the biggest cities. You do know how esports grew organically in North America. Someone should actually write a paper on this. I'm not as knowledgeable about North American sports to do it, but I can tell you it's a really fascinating thing. You know, things like MLG, they essentially followed the model of professional wrestling, which is you don't start in New York at Madison Square Garden. You start in bumfuck nowhere, Ohio, and you get the people there because the costs are really low. And then when the project goes, then you...
Are you saying Katowice is not a destination location in
How about Columbus, Ohio?
That's also what we did in Counter-Strike. By the way, in Counter-Strike, it would cost a lot more to have all the event in fucking London than it would in Katowice or in Cologne, etc. So this is what was done. Again, Riot, for whatever reason, doesn't... I'll tell you another classic thing about Riot. They don't look at other people's mistakes and successes and learn from them. They have to always touch the fire themselves to find out it burns, or be frivolous with money to find out that you don't have money after that. Like, I don't get this myself. You can just look at the other people's things and learn their lessons, or even sometimes get ahead of them and figure out what their problems will be in the future.
My point is, like, you know, I don't hate the fact that it's all in Allen, Texas. I thought that it was ridiculous that they would travel all over everywhere to do Worlds, because as we know from working Worlds, Papa, it creates a lot of problems with creating content, right, week to week. And considering that 99.9% of people are experiencing it on stream, and that arena will be full for Worlds, what's the difference? You know what I mean? The difference is you can actually make better content by not spending all your time going all over North America, going to Mexico and then to Canada and then back to the U.S. Like, it's going to make a better product. So, you know, I don't hate this, and I especially don't hate that it costs less money, because I don't think there was a point to doing it the way they did it before. As long as you're going to have a good fan base and a full arena, and that is a nice space for esports. But my point is like, if you're pushing for sustainability, surely we should be trying to lower the cost for teams across the board. And the best way you can do that is not to lower the cost of Worlds. It's to lower the cost of the domestic leagues. It's to move out of Berlin, right? I don't think there's a question that Spain is a much better choice for the LEC at this juncture, given the Spanish fan base and given the costs of production and everything like that. And then moving out of Los Angeles to Chicago or Texas or one of these locations would be 1,000,000 times better for cost than the LCS.
Look, obviously my players would be very happy if we moved to Chicago from the perspective of low-paying solo queue, right? Like, that's like one of the biggest advantages there. but you would lose production people, I assume, because they would not want to leave Los Angeles. If that's the
I
trade-off
doubt that,
works
given
for
the
you.
state of the entertainment industry in Los Angeles, I doubt these people will be clinging to those jobs. And it's like,
Listen, there will have to be bodies in the rubble if we're going to build a new fucking future.
Well, look, I'm down to move to Chicago personally. I have no problem.
Also, a lot of the production has now been outsourced. Like, a lot of the control functions of LCS are in Seattle now.
LEC is Dublin, right?
It's run out of Dublin. They got rid of all the people on staff. What LEC has done, by the way, guys, is they moved all of the control room people to Dublin on their contractors to a different company. And then all of the camera operators, or most of them at least, are from Blast. And they literally ship them in from Denmark for the shows and then ship them back out. So who is working in Berlin? You could do this anywhere, is the point. So the only thing that this does, as far as I can tell, is increase cost for the teams who have to be in these locations. Because Riot has outsourced this for the most part, and the conceit that you need LA people to run this level of production. We're not talking about NFL camera work here, guys. It's people with a camera on stage taking a videotape of players. There are people in Chicago who could do that, by the way.
But you know why it has to be LA. We're all sat here dancing around it. You know why it has to be LA.
Nice weather.
You want to be in the cigar lounge with all the popular people and the big business people and go, yes, of course.
As long as Mark Merrill is
of course.
associated with Riot Games, it will be LA. Remember, he's a TV producer now, guys. So,
Very serious.
Did you know that we won an Emmy for Worlds? And also, did you see that Augmented Dragon? Have you checked out Arcade? We see, it's all these pop burning and going to shit. Well, not my problem.
Yeah, not my problem. I'm a TV producer. So, no, I mean, obviously, look, right from the get-go, the reason they were in LA was because it was fucking... The guys that founded the company, they fucking...
Essentially, I think
bunch of rich white boys who want to fucking party in LA.
And echo his former sentiment, but to every team owner that's invested 50 million from all their VC partners invested, he should just turn to them and all go, well, you know what, guys? You're welcome that we made you a free video game that you'd have a career in. Now suck my... go do Arcane Season 3.
Exactly.
And bring in the writers of Stranger Things to do Arcane Season 3.
There really is. I mean, there was really no a valid reason to keep it as an LA-based thing. Like, they needed to set up a studio in a much cheaper environment.
It's a really great way to cut the costs, isn't it? Again,
exactly.
like I say, this is also the American mentality. You know what the American mentality is? But how do I 100 extra pies so I don't have to solve any of these problems? Like, how about plug the fucking leaks? How about make the margins?
You want to know what's crazy?
Then increase the revenue.
And I know this from my time living in Vegas. You could have done deals with
yes,
people
absolutely.
in Vegas where
I was even thinking
they would have underwrote the cost of the studio for you because they know how to get you there,
You know, there's the same thing people keep saying is going to happen with Hollywood, that eventually film production won't even be in Hollywood. It will be states like Texas and other ones will make profitable deals where you'll get like subsidies.
They're already
you'll
doing
get grants.
deals at Disney in Atlanta, right?
They should have. We all joke about the whole Saudi thing, like maybe they should have just taken the Saudi banks. It's like free money, but that's just another stupid golden goose scenario where they just give you money for now and then eventually going to go where. I agree. Why weren't you going? By the way, if people don't know, I hope this isn't too obvious. That's the whole fucking reason ESL was ever in a Sportec arena in Katowice. There are the reason I trashed Katowice is because it isn't even the best place in fucking Poland. There are way bigger sports stadiums, like football ones in Poland, that would be enormous and look very modern, etc. The Sportic one is literally a fucking Soviet thing that looks like it was made a bazillion years ago, that has like gymnastics in it and stuff like that. You do that because Katowice gives you it for free. That's why you even let the fans in for free. Like, you cut the costs to as low as possible, and then you can max out the sponsorships and the cost. They've never done this in League. Now, part of the reason why, as I've been making a key theme of this episode, is they didn't have to before. Before, they could be the trust fund kid who could they could piss away money. They could go, lol, I don't need to maximise this. Why do I need Twitch subs? They could do that all day long. The problem is, as we pointed out, one day a Chinese overlord went, you work in bauxite mine now.
So I do want to push this back to, I do appreciate that Riot is trying to cut costs in certain ways. And like, I do think it is critical to, as this is the Riot language, to right size, which of course just means make things potentially profitable. I don't understand why we have to use these stupid terms, but basically, make it sustainable. So, Baba, I want to get your take.
I appreciate the new speak on.
I want to get your take on, what things could be done, and from your perspective as a team, that would be very helpful for you in League of Legends. Like, first off, what have they done that has helped you? And then what steps would you like to see them take so that, you could sit there and be like, FlyQuest League of Legends is like a great business that I'm running?
Trying to think of things that I can specifically say Riot did. Obviously, salaries have come down a long way from the heyday when people.
The market did that one.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the thing is that Riot could have in LCS set some sort of salary cap, but they will not do that because that would require the creation of a real players union. And Riot as a company will not do that, not even just about esports, because if they set a precedent that they are willing to negotiate with a players union, they might have to set a precedent that they would have to negotiate with their own employees union. Oh my God. So actually, that is the fundamental reason why a players union will never exist and a salary cap can't exist, is because Riot will crush that out of fear of their own non-esports employees forming a union within the company. And that's the truth, guys. But anyway, they won't do that. So it was the market that was actually resetting the player stuff. So what is Riot then, and what do you want them to do?
Yeah, I'm just trying to in my head triage the things that have affected our bottom line, and definitely player salaries coming down has been helpful. I think what I would want them to do is definitely to continue to relax the categories, the sponsorship categories we can take. The gambling category
come in,
Yeah, it's still kind of slow going to kind of complete the process that you want to go to be on board. I believe there's only one partner in the world, I want to say. There's a Brazilian team that has a gambling sponsor, I believe, but otherwise,
because for those of you wondering, the betting companies have to be approved by Riot, which involves paying Riot. So Riot is telling the betting companies right now that you must pay us to vet you, and then we will approve you for the teams. And even then, the teams can't have the logos on the jersey, right, Papa? And you can create content, but it can't be on the Riot broadcast. Is that correct?
I think that they're very strict about what's possible, versus in Counter-Strike, it's kind of if you're not contravening that country's laws, it's chill, I guess, is kind of the vibe they take. I think the more that Riot allowed us to kind of follow that same sort of adage, I think that would be helpful, just because there's complimentary, again, a soju sponsor, that would go down really well for us too, but that's not a thing we can do. So I think that's something they could do that doesn't cost them money, right? It's just removal of a restriction.
Why are they against these things? Even sports has just been fuck it, let's go, let's unlock this potential. I feel like you can't watch a sports broadcast now without some form of betting.
We can all speculate kind of why. I know that Riot has tried to author metas and a lot of kind of what they want out of player behavior and things, so maybe they have their own standard to these things. I don't know. I don't talk to the decision makers that decide that. When it comes to gambling, obviously it is owned by a Chinese company, and you can't endorse betting in China, so maybe it's related to that. Again, don't have that on the record from anybody either. But ultimately, I do think that it is. I think categories being relaxed, which the gambling stuff is still progress towards, even if it's not exactly where I'd want it now, would be.
But in Counter-Strike, we have events in China. We just put a fucking bit of duct tape over the logo and we just get on with our lives. You know what I mean? It's and those organizations get to make money from those partnerships. It just seems crazy to me. The genie's out the bottle on sports betting and esports betting. That's done. It's over. And also I never understood why you couldn't advertise certain products. Why can't you have a hard liquor sponsorship? Why can't these things are legal? I'm old enough to do it in real life. Why can't my favorite team tell me, you know, which brand they do it with.
What I understood for a long time was like the average age of the viewer was too young for a beer sponsor to be there. That was what I think was told around the time that
That would have been like 10 years ago.
I think it only got to the we got what, a beer sponsor, what, 2020 I want to say is when
And that makes sense given the age of the audience.
the audience age. I totally
like,
get that one.
It's something, I forget the exact number, but it is, according to U.S. law, for advertising alcohol, your audience has to be kind of like demonstrably, I think like 70%. It's either 2/3 or like 70% 21 plus.
And traditional sports is like a super old average age, right? Like I think I heard MLB is like 53 or something.
Yeah, it's like
I'd be interested to know what Premier League is. I would assume 40 something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but
why don't we ask Grok?
The average age of I mean, it's like that must be the shittest stat. It's like a global thing that's pirated a million billion percent. Like, who even has any idea?
You can do better than this, Grok.
And then just, I mean, obviously we look at Valorant with some jealousy just because, you know, we don't have the same kind of like buy the FlyQuest gun skin situation in MOBA. Like there isn't the buy the FlyQuest bundle, and it's actually not that easy to conceptualize realistically. Obviously everyone will say, well, a skin for every team, but I totally get that that's not real. Like it's not actually that easy to conceptualize like the product that's intuitive as everyone starts the game with a pistol in League of Legends. Like it would end up being like annoying readability things like a flash icon, or I don't even know what you would do. Like nothing is as obvious. So definitely like in-game monetization can always be more, right? Like right now it's herd people towards this skin and then get a percentage of a global number. Obviously anything else where it's like this is the FlyQuest one we get the most of would be great.
So I can answer your question thanks to the incredible awesome power of Roxu. And it says that the 2024 data indicates the average age for UK Premier League fans is around 42. However, where the Premier League's been sold to foreign markets like the US, 50% of soccer fans there are under 24. And it says here that if you were to take an average across all of the major territories in the world, it would be closer to 34 years, which is really good.
That is a good number given the numbers we get from American sports. Or maybe it's something about American sports viewership in general. I don't know. But that's the reason why I guess they were hesitant around certain categories, and still they are pushing their video game, you know, that obviously like selling the sport alongside.
Yeah, it's hard because every sponsor that gets introduced takes away opportunities to advertise the game. Like it's a balance that Riot is striking between, hey, we want you to look at this skin, but if there's too many sponsors and Red Bull, Baron, Power plays, and Bud Light Aces, you spend time looking at that instead of cool skin on screen.
I'll just put it this way, Monty. I think one elephant in the room on this particular topic, you noticed how nearly all of the contrast was to Counter-Strike. That wasn't by accident. The game developer doesn't do anything in that game. They stay hands-off. There is a direct conflict of interest, in my opinion, which is that Riot Games is two entities at once. They're the game developer who makes all the money from the game itself, and then they're also the person who's in charge of the franchise league with the teams. And I'm sorry, if I was one of the people in the franchise league, I'd be like, wait a minute, the schizophrenic Dr. Jekyll version of you that goes out the room and does the game developer part is the one fucking me all the time and won't let me get any of the other stuff. And then they go, sorry about that, I'll do what I can with the boss. And then they go, sorry, fuck that guy, let's just keep screwing him and min-maxing it. Like, that's one of the problems. And the problem with that is none of the team owners feel like they can do anything publicly about that. So I assume behind the scenes it's just constant fucking pow-wows and trying to get them to move the dial a little bit, because I think that is a major problem, as you've always pointed out, Monty. Right, if they didn't really need esports at all, they'd have jettisoned it ages ago. It doesn't make them any direct profit. Clearly it does indirectly via some magical method make them massive amounts of money on the game developer side, but since we'll never know what that is, how do we ever bridge that gap? Aren't we always just going, it could be this much, can we ask for 0.1% more, can you do a little step here? If the NFL, here's the quick answer for why the NFL has all the gambling shit. They don't have a fucking secondary football thing that's to do with professional football that makes them more money, do they, Monty? They only have the motherfucking NFL. Their only fiduciary responsibility is to those franchises, including, and there's the final detail. They aren't just partners, mate. They are the NFL. That's the other thing as well. The team fans are it as well. I don't think Riot has to, or quite frankly does, give as much of a fuck about Cloud9 as like the NFL does about the San Francisco 49ers being successful, mate. Just my take.
And I guess to finish off your question, Monty, I'm a big believer in like fundamental changes to the circuit, in terms of like what a year should be. Like,
Do tell.
I think everyone points to like make it more like Counter-Strike as like a solve. Obviously, there was a long time in Counter-Strike where people were like, I would love to live in the same country and not travel as much. Like, this grass is always greener a little bit. Having now like sampled both, I think the fundamental issue I see, and this is, you know, from a North American lens, that's like the business I'm in, so I should leave my bias on the table, is there's too many times where, yeah, there's a lot of people who like followed League at some point or played League, right? Like there's a very receptive, the awareness of League to like the Twitch generation is like almost 100%, even if not that many people are currently engaged with it. So like people will like stumble onto an LCS broadcast or something, and I think too often the answer to the question of, oh, okay, like I've heard of one of these teams before, what are the stakes of this game? Like, what happens for the winner? I think too often the answer is nothing really. Like, there's been too many, you know, players double round robin best of one, then all teams make it to playoffs kind of situations. Or I think the stakes for games, like at this point, if you listen to the fan base, the only stakes they care about are qualifying for Worlds. It's like the thing that even MSI is like diluted, even though it's like a better format, as we all know. And that they reinforce that with, you know, there's World skins, but there isn't MSI skins. You know what I mean? Like, Worlds has all the pomp and circumstance, and it's the big event of the year that everyone's desperate to make. And then from there, depending on what region you're in or where you're at, everything else is diluted. And in my dream scenario, if you're playing domestic games, it's as a qualifier for an international event, and you find ways to make all the international events compelling. I don't know if that means in-game monetization specifically associated with all that. I don't know if that means crowdfunding. I don't know what that means, but ideally, if you're watching FlyQuest 9, you know that it's a fixed-term, multi-week thing to qualify for a big international event. You have the international event, and then we start it all again. So it's like 6 qualifiers for 6 international events. That's how we go. I don't know if that means you still do majors, like maybe 2 of them bigger. I don't know if that means Worlds still exists with the 5 or of a different size, but I feel very when you watch Counter-Strike, and like a lot of, you know, people are like experimenting with Counter-Strike. As far as I can tell, Counter-Strike's the only esport that has like a growing English language viewership that's like any level of mature esport. I think the reason why is that when you tune in, when you fall over a Blast stream or ESL stream, you can be like, okay, where are we? Okay, we're in London, we're in the group stage, when's the final? It's not a month away, it's not Worlds, not 7 months away. The final of this tournament that like theoretically has $1 million or something associated to it is in some of these tournaments are 3-day tournaments, some of these tournaments are what, like a week to 10-day tournaments. Like, it's coming up, and like you only need to sustain your attention until that date, and you show up at that final if you like miss some of it, and then you're gonna have a story. Like, I watched Counter-Strike. I watched that Blast London thing like crazy. The Falcons won, but like if you tune in for 3 days in February of League of Legends, like what is your output? What is your viewership story? Like, what is like the thing that you saw? Like, maybe nothing. You know what I mean? Like maybe some games that didn't build to anything. And I think building stakes towards every game being played, like, yes, that could be amazing marketing and content and unlimited money spent to like make a story out of every game. And I'm also someone who watches the Premier League, where like Man United versus Stoke might not mean anything, but I think to this generation of people, this younger generation of viewers under 30, their attention is very limited, and competing for it is extremely hard. You're competing with the global consciousness of every type of entertainment available instantly, and you just have to hold such high expectations to yourself to be like, this is why we're compelling you to watch. And I think that's a bar that gets higher literally every day.
that all of us on this call, whether it's like LFN trying to get people to watch their YouTube or the LCS trying to get you to watch matches, have to contest against. And that's what I want us to aspire to more. But that's especially felt for me because, like, obviously LCS viewership compared to like LCK viewership, the domestic games are still growing. It's just a different kettle of fish, you know.
Well, I think also when we talk about traditional, people say, well, what about traditional sports? They still have huge viewership, and they
still
run
geolocated, and you still got,
they're also, like we said, older. They have high, what's going to happen when the boomers start dying, and what happens to the viewership of these sports is a great question because they're entrenched in their habits, and they will keep watching this until they expire. It's not true of esports, right? Especially ones that are trying to grow viewership or new esports that are coming up. And so, like, the stakes, I think, that you're saying are extremely pertinent, right? Because this creates this sense of immediacy, and you need...
Texas is feeling unwelcome.
Immediacy to capture attention spans of younger people in the year 2026.
If you ask me to guess 2030, what does the circuit look like? It's like ESL runs the qualifiers for 2 tournaments a year. Blast runs the tournaments for the Riot pays for a major, Worlds and MSI, and it's deregulated a lot, and domestic play is the biggest loser, so like Korea and Brazil especially will be really upset with that because they both have very entrenched, I just want to watch my local fan bases go kind of cultures, and then, the other leagues like LEC and especially LCS who are like waking up when Worlds is there, theoretically has their people, their interests sated faster, and to me, honestly, the best data point, and maybe this is code, but the best data point I saw last year was that MSI was not in... Basically, they didn't, like, gamify the Canadian time zone to, like, be really, really receptive to Asian viewership like they have in the past for events in North America and especially Europe, where they'll just, like, why are the games starting at this time local? Oh, I understand, I can do the, like, math here. And the viewership was really strong for MSI, which suggests that in a North American-based time zone, a lot of people were watching League of Legends. And yes, it was an international product with Faker, etc., but theoretically, if no one cared about League of Legends in this region, then no one would watch those
language
games.
viewership of LCK continues to hit new highs, right? And people are migrating towards the top tier.
Isn't that also a problem, Monty? Another problem we have that doesn't cross over to a game like Counter-Strike is, in Counter-Strike, the main viewing region is also the best players. It's Europe. Well, the problem in this case is, and this was always going to be, unfortunately, one of the reasons why, in my opinion, we're always going to have a hard time with the LCS, etc., is eventually, like you said, Monty, you nailed it actually 15 years ago. Riot's best trick they ever pulled was for a long time pulling the wool over people's eyes with not many international tournaments that maybe TSM was close to T1. Whereas in reality, the gap was always enormous, even 12 years ago. It was always they were never going to win Worlds. But the difference is now, there's not a chance to win Worlds. It's not even on the table. It's not even considered like, you've got to be confident. Now you're an idiot if you say that, if you're an NA player. Like, no one even takes you seriously. They don't even believe that you believe it. So I do think you've also got a big problem bridging that gap if we're talking about the Western regions. Like, you can see that people are, as much as they would like the international tours, I think they'd also get bummed out seeing everyone lose all the time. Even though I personally will say, by the way, you would also have more parity. You'd have, by having more tournaments, you'd have your run to a final.
I mean, I think you'd make the NA teams better by doing that, so I think it actually would increase parity.
The top spenders would spend a lot more time in Asia and only be back home to play qualifiers, which, Team Liquid was considered North American until very recently, and they had 2 Canadian players and never spent any time in North America unless they had to. So, yeah, I think people will be generous about representing a subculture if you're smart about it. Just like coming back to KC having Calist, and from there getting to be the preeminent French team.
The joke is, that's another area Monty was inadvertently right. Guess what? Sending your team to Korea as often as possible to boot camp, etc., was the future. Always, why Riot was against that again. I think this. I know what you mean, Papa. Here's the thing: if it was purely in a theoretical world, I can see the value in what they wanted to do. They wanted to be United Colours of Benetton and grow the whole world in a giant ecosystem. And even Brazil would be important, and Vietnam would be important, and Europe would have it. So the problem with that is, Mate, let's worry about that once we've got the basics covered. You know, let's get an esport, let's get it profitable, let's get it healthy, let's grow it. Then we can do those.
But that process mindset you have, Duncan, like, if you follow conventional wisdom, League of Legends would never have been a relevant title. Like, a MOBA taking over the world is fucking insane. Like, what are the unlikely variables that came together for League of Legends to be the biggest game in the world for as long as it has been? So I totally understand, like, if that happened, then being like, okay, then we can have infinite growth in every region, and, like, you know, high school people grow up dreaming to be an esports player, and the player base only continues to grow. Like, no one plays sports anymore because I heard that, you know, if you play football, then you're going to get, you know, all these brain injuries and stuff like that. Like, they'll just play esports. Like,
by the way, that even could have been a thing. I can tell you from what Monty looked into. If you could go back in a time machine, one of the things you actually do if you go back to 2012 is you go, this is the one area you do go grassroots. You go hard as fuck at the collegiate thing if you write it. You don't do this, like, outsource.
Yeah, people have talked about flavors.
You should have tried to get people.
And look, Riot failed that. And failed that and probably got unlucky, let's say. But let's mostly focus on the failed. And it's like, what if they got lucky at that? Then maybe this plan would have worked, you know? Absolutely. Like, there was a way to straight line it. Because a lot of League of Legends success is unprecedented, so they sold for what they sold for. I didn't think it was the right thing to sell for. In the end, it didn't work. That's the story there. But I don't want to go back and be like, why'd you even try? Because, like, how the fuck is this game the thing that's given me the career I've had, you know? Like, there's a lot of, like, fucking luck that went into all of this too.
All I'll just say is this: there's a reason why you're not just the GM of League of Legends and you also have to fuck around with an Australian Counter-Strike team, mate.
You know what I miss most about playing? Yelling. So I got this job. Pizza.
I like the voice. We're doing all right.
He's been doing good work there. I was a bit surprised at the Regali roster move, but
true, they have one of the best of three at Major.
True.
That was hard. That was hard.
I'll even say this is how much work you've done, bro. I even bet on your team and won a bet on it. Yeah. Those are two historic things.
I feel like that's a you. That's a you problem. That's like, something's wrong with you that happened. I don't want to take any credit for it.
Well, don't worry, I hopped straight off it and won all the bets against it afterwards. So I'm moving it all the way around. They keep doing great work.
All right.
You can put those on, so
are there any other things you want to call out, Papa Smithy, about what's going on in the world, like of League of Legends? You know, it's not a salary cap in the LCK, but the kind of luxury tax salary system has been put in place right now. We have the announcement of these multiple LEC road shows, which seems very encouraging. You know, MSI seems, as you point out, seems to be doing better and better. So what are some of the other things that you think are affecting the scene, or the big stuff that's going to happen in 2026?
And it's an accumulation of good decisions being made. You know, like the LTA was obviously like a notable failure, but I think that there's like an accumulation of like good scale decisions being made. No one of them is going to lead to like a viewership explosion, but I think in general, I can tell like an accumulation of good decisions will be recognized. Probably the time that was last felt in the LCS was summer 2023, you know, before the LTA. Was it 2024? Summer 2024, you know, when Mark's stuff was coming in, we're playing best of threes, and there was some positive inertia. That didn't mean the viewership was like amazing, but it was like at least
the vibes were good.
The vibes were good, and I think the vibes will restart and be good this year as well, even though there's going to be viewership challenges. So I just think I didn't come into this space to like get the big bag, if you know what I mean, which definitely was like the thing that attracted a lot of people in like that 2017 to 2021 era. Like I played a game in Australia and it took me around the world, and so I kind of just judge the space where it is and try to move forward in a way that, you know, makes me smile or that I enjoy or that get some good wins for my company. And I think in a scaled way, 2026 is going to be a lot of fun, even if like I can't sit there and make big proclamations about the viewership and things like that, because that's going to need a concerted effort and a lot of time and a lot of data points to justify people putting the same amount of time into League of Legends than they were before, in a time where people have less and less time to give any one thing. So that's kind of how I think about it, is that my day-to-day is still hopeful and optimistic, and there's still lots of wins there, but in terms of like how to
say that any one change or any one thing is gonna like bring League of Legends to where it was before. I don't have anything for you on that. I don't mean that in a spooky way either. It's just all I can do is kind of like at my scale try to fix what I see and try to make suggestions and then wait to see what shakes out, because I do think that the model of this is all going to evolve.
That's not doom and gloom, by the way. There's no problem with League of Legends being a stable esport with its current level of viewership, which is still exceptional, by the way. You know,
still a big esport.
Yeah. You know,
especially on the international scale, for sure.
Yeah, it can truck along, and nobody's gonna be sad that Worlds is MSI and Worlds are the same scale that they're at right now. And like for me, it's just a matter of making sure that it's actually a sustainable business at this size. We have to put away the delusions that this is gonna blow up into something that's 10x as massive as it was 10 years ago, which is where all the investment money came from. And maybe I'm wrong, and League of Legends 2 does do all these things, and all of a sudden every high schooler is playing League of Legends with all these updates. I think that's extraordinarily unlikely to occur, but you never fucking know. You know what I mean? You never know. So if that's the case and they can convert those fans into esports fans, well, then maybe we have another 10 years of high growth of League of Legends. But I don't think you can safely bet on that, and so it's just about adjusting the ecosystem in a way that makes sense for the teams now.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's really not much to expand on that. I think we've definitely found the floor, just like we found the ceiling a few years ago, and I think that we're making smart decisions around that and finding ways to raise it time to time with letdowns along the way, and that's fine for me, even if it might not be fine for someone else who came into this space with other goals or expectations,
Any other guys have final thoughts on the state of the league?
That's the piece of information for you, but you can tell Susie as if I'm like Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi. You were right, Susie. You were right. Because you know what? The LCS is now 44% Korean. She was right all along. All you should do is bring fucking Koreans over. There you go.
Yeah.
How simple was it?
I mean, for me, look, it doesn't necessarily mean that like League of Legends has to kind of swirl down the pan. Although I would argue, these trends, they're gonna come and go. Different types of games are gonna hit at different times, different genres and stuff. But if they are gonna release another season of Arcane, and they are gonna do a visual update of the game, that's gonna give it a fresh lick of paint and a more modern look. I would say sometimes taking stuff away can be a good thing too. I mean, not always. If you're a World of Warcraft fan, Cataclysm. If you're a Warhammer fan, End Times. Doesn't always work. But I mean, why not use the launch of a new game as an opportunity to take out some redundant champions?
I would wish they would do that.
Say we're putting them away for a rework. Give some refunds for some goodwill, and give yourself more runway to introduce or reintroduce those champions with a design philosophy that fits with all the new champions you've been putting out. I think there's way too many.
Richard, they should kill half the champions in the game. Just to make it more accessible.
I'm not even saying.
I always thought you should just do the trading card model. If you have sets and you have seasons, and then because then you can also bring them back for a classic 1, 2, etc. I also feel like it gets rid of the whole problem if you're a new player that you can't. That's the best. By the way, if people don't know, the best thing about Magic the Gathering is you can start today. You don't have to know all the cards from the 90s, etc. League has that problem, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts for you guys?
Thorin had something, I think.
The state of LoL.
I would just say this, even though it wasn't a massive thing we discussed in this episode, because it's just like a whole, again, alternate reality that we'd have to enter into. One of the reasons I hope that what Papa said earlier about what the scene could be in a few years happens is, even though I wouldn't go as far, because I don't think anyone will ever accept it as doing like a pure Super League, to me, the reason why you want to move more towards something akin to a Counter-Strike model, you're already figuring this out within regions like LEC regionally, is, think about this. One thing I can tell you today is there are teams like T1 that a lot of people around the world want to watch, right? If I was an LCS owner, the number one thing I'd be asking for is please bring T1 to my region and have them play in a tournament in my region with my team, like Cloud9 or Team Liquid. That would be a way tomorrow to bring viewership and eyes and interest to that team in a way it currently doesn't have. That's something you can solve very, very quickly. True, it takes a circuit change, but by the way, they're fucking with the circuit every single year anyway, adding tournaments, adding a thing. So it's not like you've shown you're already going to move at a snail's pace. So there's one thing.
The LTA format fucking has been proven to be bullshit. So.
And then also, we already discussed it earlier. Again, as much as yes, it would be nice to increase the pie and bring in new viewers, but also how about take care of the people that are here now and crush the margins as much as possible and do things like move to areas that cost less to house people and to have the event. To me, it should be all of these things at once. It's not pick one direction. These all help do the same thing, in my opinion. Because I agree. I actually think we got to a good place at the end there. As I tried to make the point, if you looked at the Korean numbers before I tell you what the salaries are, you'd go, this must be an incredible runaway success of an esport. But the Koreans are almost like fucking borderline suicidal over the margins. So if you figure out the margins, you've already got millions of viewers. That's a success. That is an incredible esport. But you have to monetize that. Again, we can't be thinking like 10 years ago, but wait, Darren, why can't we just 10x the viewership, then the margins? No, make the margins make sense today. Make them make sense today. That's what I would say.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that in Europe...
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. The shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel brought a highly lethal weapon with him to my son.
Teams are starting to understand where they are in terms of, like, you look at the popular teams, right? G2, Koi, KC, and to some degree Fnatic. It's cool that G2 seems to it's not like G2 is trying to put on lots of homestand events. They're very much like, hey, we know we'll be a great guest and we'll bring a lot of pomp and circumstance to your homestand, that you have a unique advantage to set up in Spain, Koi, France, KC, and you know we're going to bring competitiveness, viewership, interest. Like, it's nice that they can be, it's nice to have kind of like the people who have, like, let KC run events and let G2 attend them. Yeah, that's the wrestling analogy. Yeah. And I think if every team had an introspective kind of like, what is the value we provide, who are we trying to appeal to, and what unique advantage do we have mindset, which again would be even easier if we had much more geolocation towards the story, then, like you say, Duncan, like every team wants to play against T1. That's like a viewership opportunity for them. But as long as you kind of understand where you are and how to set that up and the levels to it, like there's a reason that Korea can have T1 homestands. That part of that's T1 is massive, and part of that is the cost of a homestand in a industry set up around one city with not a lot of transport required is very different to like, let's just have a homestand in Miami. It's like, okay, well, that's going to be really expensive to fly everybody there. I think America's a huge country. Like, use the economies of scale and the advantages you have around a product that still has a lot of people that plays it, and this stuff will all start to make more sense. It's like, I think a business model everyone's starting to apply to themselves in a lens everyone's starting to understand. I think that is a promising thing about the current state of League of Legends.
Notice one of the points I'm making is when you have current successes, amplify and build on those. Like, by the way, I made it extreme with T1. It doesn't have to be T1. If I'm Cloud9, I also want to compete against Carving Corp. By the way, I even want to compete against Los Ratones, bring them all, make it WWE, get them all into the events. That's why the one area about the Super Team angle that did always make sense, in my opinion, is I don't really know what DN Supers does for T1. I don't think it fucking helps me, but I think I help DN Supers by playing them. I don't know what they do for me. Well, the joke is, even if you think Los Ratones is worse than DN Supers, I'd rather play Los Ratones if I'm T1. That even brings more for me.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for our annual State of League of Legends. Thank you very much, Papa Smithy, for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Pleasure. Appreciate your time. And as always, esports till end asked.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. My accountant's way too good at his job. Minions have spawned.
man survives first contact with me. Oh, watch this. No such thing as a lucky shot. Talent's all me. open to new ideas. Never miss. But I have been known to fire a warning shot or two. Blast them softly. No way to predict the twists and turns ahead. That's why I wing it. I'll make this look easy. We just called it warm-up. I rarely know what I'm looking for. But I always try.
Got him in here now.
Please back.
Wow, she had her W on cooldown still for another 8 seconds.
Echo is in bot lane.
Don't worry. I'm not the magic artifact police. Wait, are you?
Zed's gone again, Gar.
Once it's a ruin, I can legally loot it. Gawk at this!
I wanna go probes. Come on, kill it. Yeah, cool.
This going up.
Echo's going
I
up,
think what,
yeah.
never mind.
Shara Lightfeather never gives up. He learned that from me.
Dude, my Qs keep getting fucking if they're not pulling them back.
No,
God
they got me.
fucking damn it. There's no
Zed's
blast
going
coming
down
there.
now.
I've got TP for when I do get back, but
Zed's killing you. And Zed's going after you. No, never mind. He saw that. I didn't realize he could see you.
I truly hope nobody saw that.
An ally has been
Gotta go back out real far.
Killed him.
An enemy has been slain.
Hmm.
An enemy has been slain.
Good job, you two. I'm about to die to your lane. You do damage.
yeah, to everyone but me.
Well, at least you got revenge.
He's dead. That confirms it. I am a god.
An ally has been slain.
Don't know where that is.
Watch and learn.
Zed died.
sure I couldn't get that cannon minion. It says going up. I think he saw Belveth. Yeah.
No, he didn't. I think he just wanted to go up because Dan's being ganked by 2 people.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
That's unfortunate.
Well, I've officially taken his tower without him ever touching mine.
Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Enemy killing.
Mid?
Oh, really? Zipper? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
No plan survives first contact with me.
Come on, I would have killed Zed.
He is,
Never mind. Don't want it. Botline's looking at me.
That's the first damage my tower's taking now.
Who needs a map?
They're just wailing on the goddamn thing.
I want that dragon. Okay. I'm just gonna die.
I didn't even know you were coming in. You thought you were going for dragon. Fuck.
I pinged it.
We're in chat.
We were talking.
Shit.
Hey, T1 is the best team in the world, and they're in chat nonstop, and they ping nonstop. I'm just saying. You gotta pay attention to both.
Come on, Zipper, get off my tower, bitch. Please. For the love of God.
Yeah.
You need man up.
Constantly.
Excuse me.
Guess I'm going over here.
My Zipin is missing.
Omitting that little mishap from the expedition log.
Dan, do you want this Herald?
Sure. Oh, hi guys.
I can't get hauled into wizard's
Coming.
No, I'm fine. He's about to not be though.
Okay.
Oh. Hey, brother, about that thing about we're in chat?
Shut down.
Echo's here.
Double if I had known. I don't even think you pinged.
An enemy is
No, I'm going for the kill because y'all were running away.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I feel it. That's the second time. Up my ass up here. Mention the echo on top of things. Hey, don't let him take this. Oh, he's already put it up.
Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down. An ally has been
Goddamn, brother. Pop off.
Shut down. Shut down.
You go, guys.
I'm taking it mid. I want to make a big ass wave.
You have to do the charge for it.
No, not really.
Better if I do it or better if you do it. I have no idea.
Isaiah, if they
I prefer
continue to
doing
push
it.
that last tower, let me know. I'm taking one on the opposite side to counterbalance.
Oh no, I did not mean to take it. I'm sorry. Oh god. I was trying to click on the man and I clicked the thing.
Zed ignored the whole situation to kill me. He was mad about the Herald.
Never met a problem like your turret has been destroyed.
Meanwhile, there's 3 in mid lane, by the way.
I can't do fuck all to it. I need assistance. Otherwise, I'll just die.
Oh, Zed's fucking top again. God damn.
I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that.
Jesus Christ.
I see why she's ready. Clear. Get a yoink, dude. Echo here. Fuck, he's fast. Jesus. That movement speed, though. Does he have phage? No? What the hell?
Red buff.
Red gets movement.
No, she's saying red buff's up.
I'm just getting killed by Silver now.
They want dragon. I'm not there to contest it.
Yeah, Silver ulted to chase me. I said no.
Nothing stops me, except for Shireen and parasites. It was not pretty.
You mad I just took his fucking death?
Our clear is not okay.
No sweat. Kill some bad guys, maybe save the world. You know, typical hero stuff. It'll be great. All part of the adventure.
No!
Okay. I apparently can't go over that wall, according to Riot. I just fucking flash coded myself in place.
Echo no ult.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
Oh, he's gone. What fucking damage? I tried to block it there.
Enemy double kill.
She's still alive. What?
The Emilio healing.
That's just absurd. I think she got half her health back in that ultimate.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in. Marvelous facts. Exploration runs in my family. It's in my blood. We're gonna need a
Yeah, the range on that Yoink is a little dumb.
Failed the flash.
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
I'm always open to new ideas. Try new ideas.
Yeah, parked it on me.
Shut down.
I'm dead. There's nothing I can do about it.
Been slain.
God damn, dude.
Enemy triple kill.
Can't kill you in the civilian.
That was the stupidest thing I've heard come out of your mouth yet. Which is impressive.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
10,000 gold lead.
If I don't know the rules, then how can I be breaking them?
Did you just take my rocks?
He was already taking your rocks.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't know, because I have nothing in my jungle at all.
Let it pull off. Don't want to give it to me yet. Okay, there we go.
Oh, that did a lot more damage than I thought.
I was trying not to take it, so it took it anyways. Oh god!
I wasn't seeing the health bar, so.
An ally has been slain. An enemy is ready.
Damn. Bother using an ability on me. You should watch it right click me.
compass in their heart.
That's my shit. No, that's.
No, that's not.
Bitch is dead.
Nice hook, Eric.
Shit.
Alright, y'all. I can 2v3. It's 1v3. It's fine. Possibly go wrong.
Been destroyed.
He just back. He said I'm gonna 2v3 and then proceeded to run away. Like a bitch.
I didn't even have my ult to be able to actually hit more than one person at a time.
It's okay, I'll do it.
I think I can hit my abilities. No, not. Sorry, bud.
One beer on that day.
Okay. I wanna leave. I found his head.
I don't read books about the world. I go out there and see it for myself.
Dragon's gonna be coming up soon.
Your inhibitor has respawned.
You could probably Baron right after, too.
Now I have Hallback for stuck in my head. God damn it.
Zipper coming. That fucking ricochet though. They want a Baron?
Yep.
Sean melts it.
An ally has been
I'm dead.
slain. An ally has
God
been
damn it.
slain.
Oh!
An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
Discovering the spirit tomb of Ezra.
Run for your life!
I died at minions.
Oh, come on. Hit the actual for one, the actual range of the fucking ability. Ah! Now run away.
Oh, server's tearing us up. That's crazy.
Thank you for saving me.
Oh.
An ally has been slain.
He did not give two shits.
Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy defeat.
Anybody want to take mid lane from me?
I mean, I've went Phil, so.
Have to pry this top lane from my cold, dead hands.
That's fine. That's fine. Honestly, I'm okay with that.
It's like between Popo and fucking Dylan. It's
Dylan.
so hard to get up here. I am taking this opportunity.
I gave up trying to get up there. That. I want to be able to pull things, please.
Yes.
And before I fuck up Baraka.
Bans Melia proceeds to fight against Soraka.
Just saying, you banned Zahin. Zahin was not the problem. I kicked Zahin's ass. The problem was your mid laner and the jungler fucking decided to pitch a tent in my fucking lane.
No, the problem was that Sivir was going crazy, dude.
Yeah, between Zed and Sivir, I wasn't living longer than a couple seconds without Sonya's. And my kit was just not made for all those mobile fucking pucks.
Hey, Tatito.
Alright. I guess I gotta go to the America bird since we're playing with the Canadians.
What?
That's it. I was looking at what Chrome months ago. I'll go to the American bald eagle.
Mm. I'm assuming this might be our last one, or you want to stay up longer?
Whenever you're tired.
Whenever I'm tired? What if I told you I'm tired now?
Well, you should have said something before we got in queue.
That's it.
That's the thing, Cap. Always tired.
I'm unlike Unlike Popo, I can't stay up for fucking 36 hours.
I can.
I can't.
Yeah, because you're Santa Claus. Ho, 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 ho.
Gets all the hose.
I'm slutty Brom.
Are you gonna buy the sled support item?
Yes, actually. That is in fact the build that I am supposed to do.
Well, Dan went to go take a piss, and he's not gonna be in lane, so.
Oh, wait. That's not good. We're stuck at 90, 98. Come on, Dan, you got a couple seconds. Come on.
Quick, don't hold the Ethernet cable.
He's on his way. There's 3 plats on their team.
Oh, yay. Fucking
One of
fantastic.
top lane, jungle, and looks like ADC, I think. Yeah.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
They were scared to put one of them in mid.
Minions have spawned.
Never mind, I'm not doing the thing.
Forgot minions spawn instantly.
No, it's not that. It's that I was seeing. Try this.
The only thing that can corrupt platinum is obviously raw iron.
I have it.
Well, you're versing the top laner that I said was platinum, so there you go. Or emerald, I think.
Well, she's worse than Dan, so it's easy.
The guy that made me.
Oh, I missed. Now I'm sad.
No way.
Were you hoping for the W?
That's really cool. I didn't know about that interaction.
Which way's the fun? Time for some fresh water.
Let's do. I'm supposed to use E and then W. Got it.
I am not going back on the pedestal. Not yet.
This sustain is fucking insane. The fact that they're
Bro, who's plat?
full health and full mana now.
Who's plat? Who's plat? Oh, it didn't give it to me. 20 health. Fuck. Literally 22 HP.
Alright, I cleaned them up.
Appreciate it, bro. I still was going 1 for 1, but that makes it feel so much better.
I don't know what this is. I bet it's great, though.
Platinum. They must be drunk.
Oh.
What should I break next?
Brother. He's gonna shove me under tower here. You cannot come be a ruin. Oh, he just
Oh. They came again. Oh, they're pissed. Oh, they did not like that last time.
It's hard to run with the door. Oh wait, I'm in a tiny sleigh.
Okay, I'm coming in, Dan.
Yeah, it's flash.
Nice.
I'll just scream at him.
Or a farm. You don't need no auto attacks. Knives are for show anyway.
Hey, brother.
Let's move. I've got people
She hurts.
to inspire.
Love that you were literally just gonna sit there and watch her fucking
No, I'm not.
kill
Wasn't
my
gonna do that.
ass.
I threw an E at her, but yeah, I was a little slow on the reaction there.
I know. It's completely unfair. I didn't ask to be this.
I'm standing on this vision day and I'm playing help side defense.
Okay. Good job.
Alright, dragon.
I don't know if I needed it flag if I didn't need the flag for it, otherwise I would have not caught it. But
Dragon.
Yeah.
dragged it.
You killed your bot.
I need to catch up a little bit, so you gotta do it alone.
I'm about to have you.
Okay, I'm coming now.
Yeah, I've got Silas too.
I'm dead now. Maybe not.
Killing spree. An enemy has been slain.
Yeah, boy. I'm getting dove here for your schnizzles.
Fantastic ultimate.
Yeah, I'm getting dove here though. Nope, she's leaving.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I can knock her up if she tries to hook shot me.
Of what? Not so sure.
I don't need the gold from these minions, just the XP. Boom. Easy money.
If I was 6, I would have killed her, but I'm not 5'6" yet.
Now you're good. She's low. I'm low. That's all I cared about.
Emo fell for a fatal flaw. He decided to poke me when there were minions right next to my tower. I stunned him against the minions and then kidnapped his ass underneath the tower.
Yeah, he can't afford that 140 from minions. Much less the tower
It's
shots.
just the fact that he shouldn't be fucking poking me right next to the fucking tower.
Don't make doorways big enough.
She didn't stay long enough for me to get my ultimate. Depression. Oh. Took grubs. Forgot about that.
One's still missing.
God damn, I'm dead. Ooh, maybe not, maybe not. I live.
Future Nakamis and your background.
They completely bail. They completely bail. No, I got a double buff. Shit.
Any chance you're pushed up enough to make a room?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on, clear this way. Coming. You want me to ult or go walk behind him?
Probably ult. Just let me know. Oh god.
I'm in range. Call it whenever.
Okay.
I'll just go behind him. Is he in here?
He's invisible.
Run.
Haunted. I just wanted to flex on him.
I was trying to keep you alive.
You did that. I am alive.
Silas is around here.
Isaiah.
Yep.
That
Watch Camille around.
magic shield you gave me was clutch.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were, like, I didn't think you were gonna die. I just kind of wanted to flex. Like, it was like more
It was
like,
gonna be close.
yeah, and it was one of those things where it's not worth risking it. Plus, I couldn't tell if
I
he
know he's gonna
ignited
be
you.
big mad though.
I saw he had ignite. I didn't know if he had it or used it or whatever. Like whatever.
I like my tiny sleigh.
Silas has my ultimate, by the way. Just be aware of that.
Used it already.
Alright. Me and Camille are both no TP for 4 minutes. I do have my
She's
blasting
one of the
one.
ones I need to kill, and I need to kill her.
Oh, come on. Give that to her. I don't know why that didn't give you the fucking proc first when I attacked.
Oh. My bad, Dan. I did not know she was going up there.
Me either. That team will live with nothing.
Alright. They don't take damage, it's fine. Did get an AD shield against me, though.
We're not focusing the same person. I gotta leave.
No, it's fine.
You're focusing the Rakan, I'm focusing the Isaiah that's killing us. We're not focusing the same person.
And that was my bad, Dan. I gotta call her out as soon as she goes out of vision. Especially Camille.
You're fine. I almost killed his ass still.
Yeah, we ended up getting him,
The thing
but
is that we both lived,
we lost the
though,
fight.
so that's good at least.
Yeah.
Oh, they took my Krugs. Damn it, Silas. So rude. Ain't got nothing to farm. I cleared it all too fast. No one's gankable.
I messed that up.
Oh, Jesus.
I found friends by trying to stop the bet.
I don't get to play the game. Jesus.
Yeah, no,
I was CC'd for, according to Riot, I was CC'd for 6.3 seconds.
that wasn't really expecting all of that.
Oh my god.
An enemy has been slain.
Yeah, sucked. Oh, that's a new item. Damn.
Oh, hi again, Camille.
Ally has been slain.
Somehow I always end up in the center of everything.
Camille's missing. She's probably coming top again.
Down here.
Okay.
I know.
I'm trying to push my tower. No, she's
Oh,
top.
she is up here. Who the fuck called that she was down bot?
No.
I said
No one.
Silas is. God, fuck.
I thought I saw her going up top. That's why I said that.
Fuck that Zaya, dude.
Yeah, I misheard him too, so don't feel bad.
I'm dead, just leave.
Yeah, I don't have any mana.
This is like the 80th time this fucking Silas has come bot, and I'm so extremely behind. I'm at 74 of CS, she's at 116.
It's okay. This is super winnable.
Yeah, that's why I said Silas was bot, and then everything fell apart.
You're gonna get that dragon. I can't do anything about it.
No, it's cool. We can win this late game
Take
for
the
sure. Rengar farms and one-shots everybody. I get pretty tanky. Seth gets pretty tanky. Brahm's obviously tanky. You know our late game is disgusting.
No, again.
We got
She
this.
loves me.
Everything is me.
I'm getting real fucking tired of laning 1v2.
Look, I'm trying to help you, and I got 2 on me.
I can't fucking do anything. I get squished like a goddamn fucking zit, so.
No, they're roaming really well.
Means they also get Herald. There's fuck all I can do about that. Yep. Yep, I can't compete with that roaming.
Oh, good. We're only down 6 kills. We can find a pick.
We're also down 6K.
Yeah. Yeah, we all come back from plenty worse than that.
Working on it. Tell me what to do. Oh, no!
Yeah.
I know you're.
So Silas knew. Silas knew.
Nah, we don't want to fight.
Okay, cool. I fucking hate Timo. He can apparently blind me mid-ult.
Yeah. That one would have
I
been
did
a.
not realize he can blind me while I'm in the middle dashing out.
That would have been a hard fight to win. They had all 5 there.
I still, to this day, do not have any damage. Now we have no one.
Yeah, that was a rough fight. I tried to call it off, but I didn't ping it hard enough. Or at all, I think.
Don't want to be here at all now. Here's my ult.
Fucking hate Silas as a champion. Not because he can steal ultimates, that's fine. This is heal. I hate that heal. That heal is absurd.
You know we can buy for that?
Oh yeah, you know, it goes off his missing health, so it really doesn't matter.
Camille's top.
It matters if it's 40% less.
40% less of his missing health is about 2.
Apparently fucking Silas too.
Male too.
buff.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Oh my god, dude. That is fucking death falling hard.
I think are they doing Baron? They were?
No.
That
No,
is
they're not. All
stinking.
chasing.
Teamer was down here, but I guess not anymore.
Stop now.
Okay. Still my ultimate again. And then these two, like, I can't do anything here.
I mean, you can try to kill the wave.
Not with that Xayah there, I sure as fuck can't. He's going 100 to 0 me.
We got this.
I'm dead. Camille flashed and ulted
Ulted.
me.
This is probably their drag. I think we can push. Probably get a pick on Timo. Push mid. I'd leave the drag alone probably.
They're on it. Can't
Oh,
do anymore.
yo, that was
Needs
lucky
anywhere for me to
clean.
get.
I know I telegraphed my knockup. That was kind of clean.
He couldn't even see you. You ran into the wall, but he decided to flash.
Got him this time.
Like,
Oh no, run from me. She already used her knockup. I'm out of here, folks.
I fucking hate those.
Silas now has my ultimate.
Yep. I'm just dead. I can't do shit. I'm a fucking minion. The only two people who can fuck it, I can probably 100 to 0, or two people who can CC me clean out of my goddamn face.
Oh, I'm so fucking dead.
Yeah, Silas and Camille are their last two.
Fucking Tino blinds me. They're the only two people I can 100 to 0.
That was probably our fight.
That's a fantastic W, Dan, by the way.
Yeah, I tried. It just didn't end up mattering. Wow.
God, yawn. They're so
You
big.
go fucking tank it under tower. That's impressive.
Are we wanting to move on?
Yeah. Nope.
I'm okay either way. It's the first vote I put up in a while, but that was the one voting us for it to continue.
Y'all are saying that jungle feels bad. Like, you get behind, there's no recovery again.
Yeah, not unless you use some lucky fights.
I would have to pick off like about 4 or 5 bounties.
You have to have one lane winning that you can really abuse their laner and kind of get ahead as well.
Unfortunately,
I was winning till fucking Camille pulled the fuck up.
There's more than him. There's more than him.
They're leaving.
Yeah.
Nope.
ADC's around me.
An enemy has been slain.
like 100 to 0, she doesn't have her fucking ultimate. yeah, I can't flash out? Okay. Fucking, okay.
Did you try to flash out of Camille R?
Yeah, it just literally disables your flash.
Mm-hmm.
No
It
way
disables your flash because if you use it to try to leave, it doesn't let you. Period.
It's Cage. You have to get her to walk out.
Yeah, that's not happening. She just queued me for 1,200 damage.
Aw, shit.
No, you're fine. I'm running away. We're about.
Just on the way to help Dan. I'm leaving.
It's probably for the best considering we're just hard stuff fight.
What? What the fuck? How did she do what?
How did she do what?
She just 100 to 0'd me in the middle of my ult animation.
I'm gonna assume you ate the second part of her Q.
Your inhibitor is
Massive true damage.
No, I absolutely did eat the second part of her Q, but I don't think it did my health bar.
She
probably
is
in addition
3
to other
levels
stuff.
up on you in 15, 2, and 10. Yeah, it'll do your whole health bar.
Fucking
Your turret has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
We're back here, eh?
And I'm blinded in the middle of my dash too. This is fucking great. I fucking love it. Can't kill anyone.
I thought I grabbed the Camille, not the fucking Rakan.
Way
Let's
too
alert
much
it.
anti-fucking assassin CC there.
You wanna go sleep or keep playing?
Blinded on contact.
I'll let you decide. I don't want to pick.
Okay. We're going to bed. She's about to fall asleep at the keyboard, but she's trying to push through because she wants to play with Isaiah.
I want to play.
No, we'll play another.
Yes, let's play one more. Play with me. How many times have you heard me snoring at the keyboard? Just to spend every last moment with you all.
You? None.
0.
Dylan?
Meaning, yeah, Dylan, a lot. I've never heard you snore at the keyboard.
Or text snore at the keyboard.
Same.
Wait, Tex snores at the keyboard while he's awake.
Look, I want
Tex is a narcoleptic. Like, you can't convince me he's not.
I was too until I started eating real food. And fixing sleep patterns.
You say as you're up at 2 in the morning?
Yeah, but this is like a less than 20% thing for me. Like, I usually don't even do this 1 day a week. It's usually like once every other week.
Not the first pick jungle? The fuck? I appreciate you.
Y'all gonna ban?
I assure you, I am quite patient.
I was debating what to ban. I need someone to convince me Dusk and Dawn Tom Kench is a bad idea.
No, it's actually good.
Is a bad idea.
No, it's actually good. I'm being serious. I saw some fucking Korean dude do it.
We don't talk about the Koreans. They're fucking cracked.
Dan, just tape your eyes sideways.
God damn it!
Ah, perfect. My Mexican boyfriend turned Asian.
Doesn't that mean he's drunk? Why the actual hell would I ever go Swain into a fucking Malzahar?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. As well, Professor, thank you for confirming my idea.
I feel like Swain into Malzahar is actually really annoying. That's a pretty hard matchup for Malz because you destroy all of his minions at the same time with your Q, and basically all your abilities break his shield.
All abilities break shield. Basic attacks break shield.
Well, yeah, but like, so like you ult on him, it breaks his shield, and then he's immediately slowed.
Assuming I have crystal, but yeah.
Heimer top? I hope it's not Heimer top. I feel
It
like
is
it is
Heimer
Heimer
top.
God damn it. Early spirit visage in my future. I can see it.
What? Ophelia support?
The fuck? Is he gonna support with? Is he gonna just like mag dump his fucking weapons that aren't the slow one?
On what? You can't mag dump them on minions.
You can mag dump every one of them essentially. Like you can continuously use the ability on every one of them except for the slow one. Yeah. Yeah, it takes 10 of the charges to use one ability. For the record, I am totally building Dusk and Dawn. However, I am going to do Heartsteel first.
You can't tame the desert.
Okay, dude.
Ah, come on. As I click away. That's annoying. I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
As he was coming back, he got older with every announcement.
I'm coming back, Sonny. Now shooting keys at Ghost.
Damn, it's like in the wrong area. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh,
Fortunate.
I would rather be stand.
He's just over there, unfortunately, so I can't reach him.
You know who you are for sure gonna be able to reach? This fucking Heimer who's like down my throat currently.
Oh,
No,
really?
I'm aware. Give me a minute. I gotta get blue buff. I have like no mana.
Oh, really, Dan?
Oh yeah. He is showing me exactly what his robot parts can do.
He's showing me about that Heimerdinger.
Mm-hmm.
He said,
He's got
"Raise your
that
donger."
donger.
That ain't about the size of
Oh,
the
nice turret
Yordle.
shot, dipshit.
Bolly, careful. Bolly's on me. I'm dead because now your fucking mid blaze here. Okay, cool. You can. Thank you.
An ally has
Cool.
been slain.
I got smacked by Bolly. Sorry, Dan.
It's fine. Used it.
Okay, man. Good job.
An enemy has been slain.
Fucking asshole for the record.
No way, man.
It sucks that you hadn't been able to turn and hit them both.
I could have. I thought it. Yeah, I didn't. I forgot he got extra range on his Q.
I'm gonna do something fancy in bot lane here.
When did you get there? I'm so confused.
Malzahar is missing.
Okay, I no longer want to chase that.
I mean, I have Ignite.
Malzahar is missing. That was why I didn't want to chase that anymore. Pop its bubble.
Yeah, like that?
Yep. There you go. See? Ta-da.
An enemy has been slain.
Bolly Bear's right there. Bolly Bar is coming. I'm also coming.
You want to fight or you want us to go? We can go.
I want the dragon. If we leave, we lose dragon. Thank you.
Malzahar left lane.
Oh, they got it.
Guys, bail. Malzahar left lane. Unless you're confident you can take him.
Don't know who a jungler right now.
Back in lane.
Careful.
Oh, I don't
I'm
have
gonna die.
any mana.
I'm dead. Malzahar came down.
You know, they knew what they were doing. They made a choice.
What? They had a dead jungler. And
Yeah,
Malzahar
but
went
he
mid.
warned you guys multiple times that he was on his way.
No.
Yeah.
He said, Malzahar's missing. I'm gonna do it anyway. And he's like, never mind, Malzahar's back in mid.
Yeah, and then right when
Yeah, we knew.
right
We
before
knew.
you showed up, I did say.
We knew the
Malzahar
risk.
wasn't the problem anyway.
We knew bot lane was standing right there too.
Yeah, like the Malzahar made it worse, but the Malzahar wasn't the problem.
That's what we're shy from.
Kool-Aid. You can do your mid by yourself.
He killed you. That's all I said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just don't do to me. Don't do this to me.
You deserve it, Rick.
Why?
Eric happily under tower, spell shielding himself. Sad days.
An enemy has been slain.
I mean, I was hitting off cooldown, like, I used it, I ran back.
That's nice. He does so much unbelievable damage. They're both basically dead.
I'm gonna die too. I can't compete with that. Vladimir fucking healed himself through it, and so did. Wait.
You have slain an enemy.
Come to my desert.
Say wave.
Wait.
Wrong way.
Oh, it's Billy.
Killing spree.
Wrong compressor. My bad.
Wrong twink is what he meant.
Get paid and get out.
Volley bears in my jungle. It's coming to you. There we go. It's gone.
A little out of range. Decided to go left.
The only thing I look up to.
This fucker just will not back up off my fucking tower. I lost 4 plates and we're 10 minutes in. Setting him up the exact same way he just had him.
Oh, I was just out of range.
An ally has been
Cool.
slain. An enemy has been slain.
That doesn't hit, okay.
An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy. Take that. Rampage.
I'm so mad.
You can break his shield, I'll jump him.
Okay, apparently I can. Alright, I broke the shield.
Come on. He's just faster. Yep. He's gone. With a volley.
I've got values.
what bot is. Vlad's missing.
Jesus Christ, they want us.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Oh, well, that's inconvenient.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Oh, I didn't get to hit my R.
An ally has been slain.
Okay.
This is going downhill pretty fast.
Laws or whatever works at the time.
Okay.
Malzahar and Bolivar following each other around.
I'm really mad that Vlad hasn't died yet when he's been so close, like 4 times. What are you fucking kidding me?
Dragon?
Vlad's
Maybe
fucking
this time?
dead. Vlad's like right there.
I don't know where Malzahar is the problem.
It's not worth.
Well, you want me to give them a second dragon? I can do that as well.
No, I'm talking about the Vlad. I'm watching Juice walk into a tower right now.
Mouse is coming.
Hmm.
That's what I was saying.
That answers that question.
Not you too, brother. Please don't.
I'm not.
You say that, but you're about to get collapsed on.
Wealth is my kind of burden.
You got vision there.
I'll fight for a cause. I won't die for one.
That's just for them.
Yeah.
Like we just can't contest because timer turrets.
I just can't move.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Shut down. It's not stealing the dead.
Oh, fuck!
I'm shy.
He literally stole my buff, didn't he? I can't fucking
No.
move.
Got you both.
An enemy has been slain.
know how this bot lane is fucking working. It's kind of pissing me off.
They're pure sustain.
Wild that he gets to still go or like cool while he's in his route.
Thank you for coming.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you.
Good knock up there on the Heimerdinger. Let me ult him.
Vladimir's fucking weird.
Get paid and get out. Rampage.
He's dead. Are you happy now?
Yeah.
Heimerdinger though.
Yeah, kill that bitch ass and his turrets. I don't care if he was cute and arcane.
He was cute.
Yeah, bro, the banjo
Like an old
scene.
man.
Kings come and go.
Right buff.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh, shit.
Bye.
An ally has been slain.
God damn it, I tried to save you.
It doesn't matter between that fucking. Yeah, I knew he was gonna ult top of me after that.
Heroes go hungry.
Got lead back.
They're taking dragon. Ollie's coming. I'm coming up as soon as I can. I just got back from being dead.
I've got value. They step up.
They still haven't used the herald.
I make my own fortune.
It's 20 minutes. We haven't taken a fucking turret. What is this shit?
Well, I was fucking like unable
Yeah, I
to
know.
progress past my fucking tower because turrets.
I know. It's just unusual.
Loyalty. Your turret has been destroyed.
Oh wow. Okay.
An enemy has been slain. Honor is the last. An enemy has been slain.
Good job.
I'm not actually sure how that hit him. I feel like it should have hit a minion.
Rampage.
He's pissed.
Laws are whatever works at the time.
Someone CP behind us.
No!
Oh, Merrick.
What? Why did you hit that?
I can't move. I'm dead.
I was out.
Yeah, just killed him.
Oh, I thought Eric hit it himself.
No, just hit it. I don't think he meant to do it.
It's not stealing if they're dead.
They're on Baron.
You can't tame the desert. Destroyed a turret.
He's gonna run. We need to push. We need to get Heimer. He's going for the fucking inhibitor. Heimer is going for an inhibitor.
The only thing I will
What's the thing in front of the inhibitor? Yeah, he has to go through first.
No. Juice? Help?
Fucking hurts.
Please? No? Okay. I guess I die.
An ally has been slain.
Can land a root.
Yeah, I didn't see you, and I can't fight him in the slightest. Not in a million worlds. He's all 9 of my deaths, or 8 of them at least.
They're taking Baron.
An enemy has been slain.
Yeah, not shit I can do about it.
Wally's doing Baron by himself. Now he has Aphelios.
Oh yeah, we can take that. Vlad's there. I don't know. I'm trying to come help. They have the armor shreds and the fucking
Godlike.
Just help.
There we go.
Oh man. I'm a big, strong man.
No, correction. You're a fish. Okay. Super clear though.
Stack up nicely.
Oh, I forgot I could do new items or new items.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Need it back.
What do you
Heimer
think
just
you're
won
doing,
the
homie?
dragon.
Stepping up like you people?
Careful, careful.
Shut down.
Oh, the
Careful,
fucking
Vlad's
stun
coming. Careful,
fucked me
Vlad's
so
coming.
hard. I was about to spit him out and tongue him one last time.
Oh, they have the whole crowd on me.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Hey Eric, Heim's on drag. You wanna collapse?
Your team has destroyed.
I don't really want to collapse on the
You're good. You can push it.
What in the fuck? I missed it.
Okay.
There. Okay, we got it.
Thanks for coming, bro, because I did not quite kill him.
He doesn't have ultimate, by the way. He just used it on me with Vladimir on top of me as well.
I am levels of dead right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't enough.
An enemy has been slain. Honor is the rust on a dull blade. Love or whatever works at the time.
We gotta be careful.
Alright. Oh, shit.
Oh, back up. They got at least 4 there. Or 3 there, I mean.
Yeah, well, I found out. Yeah, Polar Bear straight up fucking excuse me. From behind.
An ally has been slain.
That's my beat.
You just got back, man.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Got that try?
Not really, but I could try. He does a lot of damage to me. Ow, ow.
Back to the,
No way. Oh, yeah, back to clearing.
I glitched the fucking thing. Oh my god.
oh, I'm not getting that.
Dan gets to be a menace.
I have been a menace, I believe.
Well, yes, but like you get to hit level 19 now.
You're gonna get collapsed on.
Get paid and get out.
I'm already collapsed. I'm not even collapsed. I'm already gonna get slapped. I've got an ult out of that.
Polly's here.
Bring up top to help them.
I was going top now.
You have slain an enemy.
Okay.
I do my
Oh, wow, that did a lot more damage than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go try.
There's a TP behind you.
Yeah, I see the Heimer.
Or I guess. When I come up.
Okay, he just ulted.
Come towards me.
I'm pushing top.
Heimer's going for a ride.
Volley's here.
Volley's there too. There's one missing. Alright, Volley's there, one missing, 3 dead.
Okay, you can take Baron off that. I love that I just fucking full regen. Like, the fuck you mean? Get the fuck out of here, you little bitch. I don't care if you got red, white.
Yeah, affiliate support does not have enough income to make that happen. Nice route. Really nice route.
Ow. Affiliate's ultimate.
Okay, I'm gonna try to leave.
Damn, you keep jumping away from me and I get scared. Poor guy.
Should have not talked shit. That's how I operate.
I don't know. He said he started it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I muted him. So.
He did apologize and say that he would stop if he stopped talking after that.
Yeah.
Philios is just on an adventure, y'all.
Yeah, he's got 3 Vamp Scepters. I'm not taking him very seriously. He's got 3 Vamp Scepters.
He's trying to maximize the lifesteal, but it gets multiplied by his gun. The business.
Oh no.
Unbench him.
I had 5,500 before that. Dang it. I should have pinged it. I was back and bought the GA and then came back on TP.
I have run out of mana.
God, today's. Talk shit.
I mean, so noted. Dusk Dawn actually fucking returned.
I said it fucking works, you bitch. I said it.
I have said for years, Tom Kinch is like the strongest melee top laner for no reason.
So, do you know what Dusk and Dawn does, Isaiah? Have you played around with it yet?
Nah. Or which one is it?
Basically, it's a Lich Bane. Whenever you use it, it double applies your on hit effects.
Right. Yeah. I've used it a lot on Teemo.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You said you did use it. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, on Teemo, I've used it. I didn't know the name of it, but yeah.
Imagine building it and Rage Blade on Vayne and insta-procking your passive.
The problem is it's AP, but on like Teemo, Shaco, Akali, Katarina.
Hey, does that mean it double applies the backstab?
No.
No, it's not on hit. Neither is Teemo's Burn.
I thought Teemo's Burn is considered on hit.
I guess you'd do it for the attack speed then.
It might be coded as on hit, but I don't think it says it in his like in the ability description. I don't think it has like the like where it's white and says on hit.
Teemo's E.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is technically it is an on hit, but reapplying it doesn't do anything because all it does is extend the duration of it.
We are going to bed, Shy. Don't worry. We're not going to play another. As much fun as that was, I think I might
Land all
need
the
that
dubs.
more fucking frequently. That was absurd.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, cool.
Especially since you were pushed into your damn tower for the whole game.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I could get on top of him, I could murder him. I couldn't clear my fucking wave because so I could never Q him because there was always a wave or tower or turrets between me and him. So until I get to the point where I could actually just Q auto his fucking turrets, I couldn't deal with him. It was just like, this is absurd. But it really, honestly, probably should have just let him take that tower a long time before that, because having more space to get a hold of his ass made it so much easier. Oh, God. That was
But
way
okay,
too much.
guys. I'm gonna pass out if I don't go. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
Not everybody.
Thanks for the games.
Peace.
Life is too short for fear.